not freaking pull a speed. Yep. Okay, so are we on? Hang on. Let me test because this is my first time ever going through all this rigmarole. Patting my tummy, rubbing my head, all that stuff. I want to see what other people see. There we go. Hang on.
It should be. Let's see.
There we go. There we are. Wow, that looks great. Okay, I'm going to turn off the phone real quick. Okay, wonderful. That looks amazing. Okay. Hello, Luke. Hello. Hello. So, first of all, hello, my name is Chief Brody Rules, and this is Luke. Yep, so I got to go like that way. Okay, so if I talk to you and I have to do this, I have to look left. Okay.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
I look left as well.
Yes, so we both look over there. How are you, Luke?
Hello. I'm good. How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
Great, wonderful. Yes. Oh, tell the folks at home who you are, how we know each other, because right now all these people just know me from making YouTube poop from 12 years ago. So,
who am I? I sound like
who
Mewtwo.
are you?
Mewtwo from Mewtwo Strikes Back, whatever that movie was called, the first Pokemon movie. Did you ever see that?
Let's see. I think I was at the drive-in. My mom was driving past it, and she was like, "Hey, you want to listen to the Pokemon movie?" Because I was sleeping on the way home.
Right.
So we sat there for like maybe 20, 30 minutes, not watching the movie, just listening to it through the car.
Oh, right.
And I was like, oh, that's cool. But like, that's the only nostalgic feeling I have for the Pokemon movie.
Fair enough.
Oops, kind of bumped the camera. It's okay though.
But anyway, I'm Luke Deckard. I am a professional writer. I do some writing for podcasts and books and things. And I'm wrapping up a PhD, which is super fun. And let's see, we met. I don't remember how long ago now. It's been many years, but we met through Phil. We met through Phil Dragish. But like, it was definitely when I was in the UK. So somewhere around 2008 to 10, somewhere around that range.
Wow. Okay.
Had to be.
Yeah, because like I don't know if it's me or Phil, but like it's definitely like I think maybe it's me, but like somehow I like connected everybody. You know, it's weird. I don't know if that's. I think it is me.
Yeah.
Because I was a fan of Phil.
Yeah.
Phil Dragish. For those who don't know, Phil Dragish is an artist, filmmaker extraordinaire, and in 2000, oh my God. So let's wind back the clock to the dawn of time. So, oh my God, like the beginning of YouTube, I would look up mashups to figure out what to do. And I ran into Phil Dragish's completely screwed over, dubbed over Lord of the Rings. And then, because I was the only mashups online were those videos. So I became a fan of his through that. And then like, what do you call it? I think on Facebook, he had like a group of Ralph Bashki appreciators or something. Back in the day when people made Facebook groups and not pages.
Pages, yes.
Yep. So I followed him through there. And then I sent a friend request just to, to feel it out. Like, I've been following him for like 2-3 years as a fan. Let's be friends. So then we became friends through that. And this is like 2009, 2010 at this point. And I started following him in like 2008.
Yeah.
Possibly 7, because I started doing mashups definitely 2007, 8, because I did Pineapple Express and Star Wars. So that stuck in my mind from that era.
Okay,
yeah. So from then, I become closer friends with Phil. And then about 2011, 12-ish, I start becoming friends online with like Anthony and Kirk. And then we all start doing that. And then they have a mutual friend, Duke Loops. I become friends with him. And then I'm friends with Sam Gavin. And then I think it's somewhere along the way that you came in. I don't know when.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was my YouTube poop era or fan trailer era, but then that's when you came in. Possibly fan trailer era.
I think fan trailer era. I think, yes.
Yes. So that's about 2013, 2014.
Yes.
Fan trailer era starts.
I remember. What one do I remember of yours? Did you do like Jurassic Park VH? No, it wasn't Jurassic Park VH. It was some. Oh,
I think you were friends with me before then because the first one that like really went viral and it was a hit and was through Phil
yes,
was the Winter Soldier, which was 2014.
maybe that was it. Maybe
I
that
think
was
that might
it.
have been it because it's
Yes,
comic book, it's VHS, it's Phil Dragish, it's all
yes,
the pieces
yeah,
that you would come align with us to
yeah,
form the bond. Like
yeah,
I always share the picture of Quasimodo when he's holding hands with
yeah,
Esmeralda and oh god, the other guy, Calvin Klein. I don't know the character's
yes,
name,
yeah. The
but yeah,
blonde
you
guy.
know what I'm talking about.
I think
Yes,
he's
the blonde guy,
yeah,
the one with the pompadour, Elvis.
yeah.
Yeah, that guy. I
It's
bet there's
true.
like 5 people out there that get that reference. Like only
Yes,
5.
yeah. But it's true though. That like perfectly sums up like that's the perfect metaphor for what you've done with all these
Yes,
people.
with all these people exactly. And then even after that, there's like Kai who came in there. He's a up and coming filmmaker. He's really cool. And then there's like a lot of other people, like
Yeah,
tons. And
yeah,
it's like all like the whole gang. I almost want to call it like the Kirk Beatty gang because I feel like it's kind of him as well.
right.
Because like it's like his fans and
Yeah,
my fans. Like we all created like a little social
super
network
gang.
basically on Twitter, and that's really fun. And yeah, that's how I met
Yes,
you is through
yes.
Phil, and that was like must have been 2014 with
Yeah,
Winter Soldier.
yes, yeah. It might it could have been just a splash earlier, but
Just like a little bit earlier.
not by much, not by much, because
Yeah.
I was what's hard for me to remember was how was I in London or was I in Manchester? That's the hard thing for me to remember. Um,
Yeah.
because that's when I was doing once I moved here, there was a lot more, connecting and all that kind of stuff. But I guess Twitter wasn't around until 2009.
Twitter
So
was around in like 2008, 2009 because the reason
yeah.
why I joined Twitter, little fun
Yes.
fact, people out there, I used to
What's her
watch
name?
Entertainment. No, it wasn't a girl. I
I mean, like
watched
some
Entertainment
model.
Tonight.
Gotta be some model that you're joining for.
No, no, no. Okay. I watched Entertainment Tonight and they're like, follow us on Twitter. And
Oh,
like, I was like, if I could follow them on Twitter, can I follow other actors? So at the beginning, I was like, very like, ooh, I could follow actors and
yeah.
actresses. And now, 10 years later, 13, 20 years later, I don't follow any actors because
Unfollowable.
I don't want to hear their tweets. They make sound like oh, it's the end of the world. Meanwhile, they make millions of dollars. And
Right.
like, I don't want to hear Conan O'Brien talk about politics. I don't want to hear Gal Gadot trying to save the world with a song. None of it.
Yeah.
But it all started humbly like, oh, I want to follow Entertainment Tonight and learn about all the actors.
Yeah.
But that's how I joined Twitter. How did you join Twitter, Luke?
I joined in 2009 because I was doing an internship. So in another life, I was when I was doing my undergraduate, which was in theology, which I'm, biblical religion kind of studies, right? I was another mutual friend of mine and Phil's, but who was connected. We weren't connected through Phil. We were someone else connected Phil and these other groups of people here. Um, I was basically doing an internship at a church where they kind of worked a little bit,
Mhm.
and so the youth pastor there was like, "We need to find out what this Twitter is all about." And so I was the guinea pig to kind of see how they
You
could
were the Jake
utilize it.
Sully. Oh my God.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Miles Quaritch was like, we needed to go in there and see what this Twitter is. And then he became a bluebird.
And
That's
then I
amazing.
became a bluebird, and I've been there ever since. Although now it's less exciting. Did you see? I only noticed this today. I don't know if this is on your Twitter, but
Okay.
on my phone, they now tell you the number of impressions your tweets get.
I have not gotten that yet, but I'm sure it's dying down. Because here's the thing that's been happening recently. I've noticed I've been getting less likes on my tweets, and usually there's always like one or two, but now it's like
Yes.
nothing. And I'm
Okay.
wondering
It's not
if
just
it's two things. Am I shadow blocked or whatever shadow banned because I tweet too much? Because there's some days where I tweet it like maybe 5 times within an
Mm,
hour. Or is it because everyone's like, oh, Elon Musk? Oh, so I don't know. I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if I wouldn't be surprised if Musk is trying to make it so that if you are not subscribed to Twitter fucking Blue, that fewer people see your stuff.
That could be it.
Because
That could
I
be
got
it.
I got a notification today that said, basically said to join Quality Conversations, subscribe to Twitter Blue.
That is a possibility. But the reason why I call that bullshit, or I'm calling bullshit on it, I don't really believe that theory.
Yeah.
It's because it's sort of like the syndrome theory.
Yeah.
Where everyone's super, then no one is. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So if everyone subscribes to this stupid thing, then it's not special anymore.
No.
So I don't really believe that theory. Possibly it's true. Most likely it's true. I'm just average Joe. I am Rich Evans. You know, I'm not a smart man, but I do know what love is.
Yeah, I mean it's weird because like I follow a few people and they follow me back who have subscribed to it, and it's really cringy. I find it cringe when I see a follower being like, "Oh, they've subscribed to Twitter Blue." I'm like, "Oh, come on."
Yeah.
But I say that to say that I don't see their tweets more than others. So maybe it's not the case. But
that might be okay. Because more like if they were subscribed, then you should probably see theirs more. Like they should be like on top. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you're not seeing that, okay. So maybe people are just on Twitter less because I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, my followers have fluctuated massively since the Muskrat took over, and and it's just a bit of nonsense. Yeah.
I don't. It's like to me, it's like they cause their own panic. You know what I mean?
They do.
It's I really I don't read the articles. Granted, I don't read the articles. I'm just average Rich Evans Joe. You know, but like. Whenever I see people are like, "Oh my God, he's like changing this, he's changing that," it's like, well, I'm sure that all happened before he came there, but now people are just writing articles about it, and now you know about it because people are writing articles about it. Meanwhile, it's been happening this whole time, and you know, we live through Twitter every day, and we never really gave a shit. You know, that's my theory. Also, there's like people out there, like, I don't know, like it's like I said, you know, like I don't follow actors because they all tweet political shit or whatever. Yeah. So I noticed some of my friends are like, oh, there's some people are disappearing from my Twitter and they don't tweet anymore, or they're moved on to other things. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You follow those people. You don't follow like, because to me, like if you follow those people, then you're not really following Twitter for fun. I don't like, maybe that's overstating it, but like I follow Twitter for fun. So like I've noticed like very little difference. So I don't follow it for, you know, I do follow like news sites, like local news. I follow like NPR, things like that. Yeah. Just so like, because the thing I love about Twitter as well, you know, because everyone talks down on Twitter.
Yes.
The thing I love about Twitter is like, it's usually the first place where you hear something. If someone, actor or politician or somebody has passed away, it's the first to know about it. Like historically, funny enough, because he's always been in the news recently, The Rock. The Rock was the first person to tweet that Osama bin Laden had been killed, and it was on Twitter. Wasn't through the news. It was on Twitter because he knew the guys on the ground who did it.
Oh.
So like that's why I love about Twitter, because it's like the first thing you know about it. So like there's like some local Twitter accounts I follow, Twitter accounts that I follow that do like local weather stuff. So like there's a road closure because of snow here. They tweet about it, and it's awesome, and I love that. Yeah. I love that. Like it's like the first place for like movie trailers as well. It's like, I don't know, it's like ground zero of like news. Like if you need to hear something, that's what I love about it.
Yes.
You know. Yeah. All these like social networks usually have something that has like a nice spin on it that makes me like, yes, I love that. Like another example why there's another what do you call it, app I like. I like Instagram. And the reason why I like Instagram is not because of the posts so much. I like it because the thing that makes Instagram really special, and I don't think really people talk about it as much, is that the Instagram stories.
Yes.
Instagram stories last for 24 hours. And it's a special moment that your friends or your whoever you follow share with you. And you only have a certain amount of time to look at it. Yeah. And there's so many things that people share, and it never goes on the main feed.
Yeah.
and it could go away, and it makes that feeling that you have to be there. Like, okay, you have to check it at least once a day or
Yeah.
a couple times a day to check your stories and see what your friends are doing. Like,
Yes.
I've made so many friends just through that, just for reactions or saying like, oh my God, supports you.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing such a great job. That's what I love about Instagram. There's something there. And with
Yeah.
Twitter, I like our little community
Yes.
that we've made with people that we've met online. They're all
Yeah.
basically all on Twitter, and it's a perfect place to share things
Yeah.
or even have opinions.
Yeah.
Like me and you, we always talk about like movie stuff there, and I always try to like say, like, I try to be respectful. I'm like, it's not real until like the movie comes out.
Yes.
And you're like, no, we have to talk about Daredevil, and I'm like, no. although let's talk about it just a little bit, a smidge.
Okay. Okay. I was not going to talk about it because I knew you didn't want, but let's do it. Let's do it.
Just a little smidge, Luke, a little smidge of Daredevil,
Yes.
because Anthony brought up the thing. Hi, Anthony, if you're out there.
Hi, Anthony.
Anthony brought up the thing about how there's always different interpretations of the character, and it's always changing through history.
Yes.
Granted, that is true,
Yes.
but the problem with a monopoly is that that person, Disney, will own Daredevil for years to come, and whatever they introduce is what most likely will be the interpretation of that character for at least 5 to 10 years, guaranteed, no matter what.
Yeah.
And that's sort of like the issue with these characters now. But although that's my theory, there's people out there that don't even consider that. They don't even think that. They're just thinking like, oh, there's no more violence in the show anymore. It's like, it's just simple. Like they didn't click over to think like, oh wait, it's owned by all one person and it's going to be the same thing for 10 years to come.
Yeah.
That's sort of why I like DC. I know I don't stand up for it as much as I did, let's say 2017. I think after Justice League, I was like, all right, I'm not going to stand up for this shit anymore. But but the thing I like about Justice League and DC is that they literally have no idea what they're doing, so they're just throwing anything at the wall and whatever sticks they go with. And I kind of love that.
Yes.
Like Joker, Suicide Squad. They tried twice, so I have Harley Quinn over here. But yeah, they're just trying everything and seeing what works, and I kind of like that. And I wish when they announced that freaking like, oh, we're going to get rid of Henry Cavill, it's like, wait, hang on. With everything going crazy, no one complained that Ben Affleck wasn't, the Batman in that movie. Everyone liked Robert Pattinson. Everyone was looking forward to it. Why not have a young Superman over here in his little world, and then over here have a Henry Cavill with Gal Gadot, and it's its own thing, and they're not connected at all. It's sort of like I'm going on a whole tangent about the superhero crap, because I feel like they have a box of crayons and they're only using the black crayon to draw. Meanwhile, it's like you can use blue and yellow.
Yes.
Like my theory with X-Men, because back in the day when X-Men did Days of Future Past, I was like, holy shit, you could have like 3 different franchises from this. You could have X-Men.
Yep.
Because they're all safe now in the future. You could have that franchise. You could have First Class franchise, and then I think you could have like a crazy third one. I forgot what my theory was, but you could have a crazy third one that keeps going, like Logan. Like Logan's the crazy third one that can keep going. You could have the First Class one, and then you could have the one where everyone's okay in the future. Scott Summers and Jean Grey, they're all alive. You can like. I thought that's what they were going to do with that, because I'm like, holy crap, you could really like do whatever you want and have like 5 different X-Men movies instead of just the one.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that. They did Apocalypse. They took like 5 steps back by doing Apocalypse. Apologize to the fans out there. I'm sure there's people who like those.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, why I love X-Men. I love the X-Men movies, but I always view Days of Future Past as the end. To me, it's the real ending. I don't really talk about Apocalypse. I don't really talk about Dark Phoenix. Definitely don't talk about New Mutants. They are just bonuses that we don't need, and they're kind of trash.
You saw it as the end. To me, I saw it as like, oh my God, you're ripping this door open. Let's go through it. Let's go head first. 5 different franchises all at the same time. But that's me. That's how I saw it.
It was so old, and Hugh Jackman was like acting like he was done. So that, okay, this is it. You're done. We're fine. Who knew that?
That's true, I guess. But was the Wolverine before or after Days of Future Past?
Before. It was the lead up to.
Really?
Yeah. Wolverine came out.
That's right, because he's at the airport at the end. That's right. Okay, here's the thing, fans out there, Chief Brody Rules fans, or people out there watching this. I have no memory of the X-Men movies. It's like whenever I watch them, they're fresh because when I was younger, I was not. They weren't my cup of tea, and I'm sure like people like Luke or Kirk or Anthony, they must have had a copy, or you guys must have had a copy at home where you would watch it over and over again. Meanwhile, at that time,
Yeah.
while it was on VHS, I was watching like Die Hard and other movies. So I was like, I was on a different path.
Yeah.
I think I was getting into Tom Cruise around that time too, because 2004, so that was Collateral. 2003, Denzel. So I'm getting to Denzel and Tom Cruise movies because from like 2003 all the way until like, my God, like 2011, Denzel had like a movie every year. So
Yeah.
Denzel was my guy. Same thing with like Tom Cruise, because Tom Cruise had Collateral, and they had War of the Worlds, Mission Impossible, Valkyrie. So I was like, I was following him, you know. And everyone else is like, oh, I'm like X-Men, you know, I'm watching the X-Men movies, and it's like I wasn't there. So whenever I go back to those X-Men movies, I'm not as nostalgic.
I love them. I do.
Mhm.
I mean, the thing is, I was into all the movies you mentioned. Like, I was into all those as well. But
Yeah.
X-Men was, I think, because X-Men and Spider-Man are my two favorite superheroes
Mhm.
groups, right? So it was really quite wonderful that you had X-Men and Spider-Man coming out at the same time, and they were both good. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, wow, I'm excited. They're actually good. But I still watched all the other stuff that was out
Yeah.
there. Like, it wasn't the only thing I was like die hard about,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
But I think it's because you guys at least had a copy. Because the thing is, I was a huge Spider-Man person, so I had copies of Spider-Man, but I did not have copies of X-Men.
Yes.
That's the thing too.
Yeah.
Because I'm more nostalgic for Tobey Maguire. So when he comes in there in his little preacher gear in the new movie, I'm like, ah! It's like, I love it. I love Tobey. That whole world. Even like the third one. I thought the third one was great at the time. I haven't watched in the years, but I probably still like it. I know
have
it's not
theories
the
about
greatest. Oh, you
You
have
probably
theories?
heard my theories. If you listened to all of our podcasts the
Oh
other
yeah,
day,
because you're like the one where Sam Raimi tanked his own movie because he didn't want to have Venom in it. Is
I
that
swear
it?
to God, I think that's what he did.
Hmm.
I really do.
I think it was just like burnout, honestly. I think he just
I
didn't
think
have
he was
enough
saying
fight in
fuck
him.
you to Avi Arad. I think he was saying F you. I really do. Because he was the guy who was like, you have to have Venom in your movie.
Hmm.
And he was like, I don't
I
want
think
to.
it was just exhaustion. I think he had I don't think he had enough energy to keep fighting AVI Rod or whatever the studio against Venom, because they did like one and then jumped right into two.
Yeah.
So they probably jumped right into three, and he probably just didn't have that fight anymore.
3 years.
Yeah.
There's a good 3 years between 2 and 3.
Is there
2
really?
came out in 2004.
That's right. It did 2004, and then 2007 was Spider-Man 3. And Spider-Man 3 is like right on the cusp of the change of the guard, because in 2008 as Iron Man, and that starts with the whole new era, because the cheesy era is pretty much, oh my God. When did Fantastic Four come out? Because I feel like that's the cheesy era, because X-Men was taken seriously, Blade was taken seriously.
2005. For sure. One
So
of them
2005.
Yeah.
So maybe 2000. Oh wait, Daredevil. Daredevil's 2003.
Yeah.
That
Hulk,
might be it.
Hulk was 2003.
Okay, so there's that cheesiness there. It's establishing. So it's sort of like a rift, because everyone's taking seriously Blade and X-Men, and then slowly start spreading because you have Hulk, Daredevil, sort of Punisher. Punisher is like actually serious because they'd kill a whole family, and Disney would never do that. Disney would never. That movie, that 2004 Thomas Jane movie, I really love.
Yeah.
And there's no way that would be made in this day and age, because it is so brutal.
Yeah.
Like at the time it seemed like a normal action movie, but now looking back on it, it's like it's really brutal, because like they kill grandparents, kids, the mom and son get ran over Mad Max style, and like he like gets like shot point blank range and gets thrown in there.
Yeah.
I love the two Thomas Jane Punisher. I was not a fan of the Ray Stevenson one. I don't know if you ever saw that one, Punisher Warzone.
I was like
no, it was so like, it was gory and stuff, but it was so like cheesy at the same time, because there's like a scene in the movie, which I'm sure would work in the comic book, but in an actual movie, it just comes off as silly, where Ray Stevenson gives like the little girl a flashlight. as like, as like, here you go, you'll be safe. And I was just like, this is
Oh,
bullshit.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
stupid. Also 2008, because we're talking about the Rift. Another change of the guard is the Dark Knight.
Yes.
I almost forgot about that.
Oh yes.
That's a huge rift and change. Because like Batman Begins, I almost feel like
Yeah.
Batman Begins was like flew under the radar. Because
Yes.
2005 was a lot about reboots. There was no original bone in its body in 2005. You had Bad News Bears, War of the Worlds, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Batman,
Yeah.
Stepford Wives. They all came out the same year. Terrible year because it's just like, oh, it's like all these movies I've seen before. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The Corpse
And
Bride.
Corpse Bride. But, oh, yeah, people probably thought, Nightmare
King
Before
Kong,
Christmas.
but that's
so.
a reboot. King Kong's a reboot.
Exactly, so there's not that much originality in 2005. And like King Kong, you said, that's like Christmas time. So like the whole year, the whole summer was just like reboots. But yeah, I think Batman flew under the radar for that. I think it was a sleeper hit.
And
you know what's funny?
Films, and these are terrible. You have Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. There we go.
Well, like 5 people saw that in the theater. Come on.
There's one movie. There's one original.
I love Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, but don't make it sound like it's a blockbuster. Come on.
Oh no, I know it's not.
You're Wikipedia. I'm going by my memory. Oh man, I feel kind of I'm showing off my knowledge, my useless knowledge of films.
Good. My memory's not that good. I wish my memory was
Devil's Rejects came out in 2005. Hell yeah.
There you go. Yes.
There you go. Freebird.
Serenity.
That movie like killed my love for the franchise because I really everyone said, "Oh, Frank, you got to check out Firefly. You got to check out Firefly." So I watched Firefly and I really loved it. And then I watched the movie and I'm like, "This sucks."
Yeah.
It was like literally just like killed everybody from the show and said, "The show is done. Stop asking for a movie." I felt like that's what the movie was. It was like everyone's done. We're done. It's over. And it was just like, "Oh, okay. Why would you?" Okay. Yeah.
But that really wasn't. No, you're right. That 2008 was the big change, the big shift.
The big shift because you got Iron Man and the Dark Knight, and then, because at the same time you have like Wanted. I think Wanted came out the same year, so that's sort of like going gritty comic book, kind of going off the road. Yeah. And then the next year, 2009, Watchmen. Yeah, that was awesome.
Watchmen.
Yeah, go ahead.
And Wolverine Origins. That disaster.
Wolverine Origins.
That disaster.
I think I still liked it at the time. I gave it a pass at the time. Like nowadays, I probably wouldn't. I know who you are, Gambit. Wasn't that one of the first like viral trailers at the time because it was bootlegged? Yeah,
the film was bootlegged, and I had a copy of it. I watched that bootleg copy, the print work copy, and it was the shocking thing was watching that version and it being kind of bad, but then seeing it in the cinema and seeing how the graphics didn't really improve that much. I was like, wow, this is basically this like the same level of quality of the unfinished version. Like that's a bad movie. That's just so bad. Such a bad movie.
Yeah. 2009 was another weird year too. Because I think that was because of the writer's strike, right? I think because you have Terminator Salvation, and then you have District 9. Did Avatar come out in 2009 or 10?
That was 2012,
I'm almost thinking
sir. I think Avatar was 2012. Was it?
No. It was like 2009, 2010.
Shit, yeah, Avatar. 2009. Shit, 2009.
Yeah.
Ages ago.
Yeah, because when you said 2012, that's like too fresh. That's like Prometheus.
It is
Avengers. Yeah. That's like that's another doorway opening in that year. So no.
That's right. Because I was still in uni. Yeah, that's right. I remember now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is it that when I Google Avatar, there are 5 Avatar films planned up until 2028? God damn
I
it,
don't know.
James Cameron.
It sounds like he has a solid plan for at least 4. And he says, if there's anyone else, they want any more movies, I do have a plan for 5 and 6. I'm like, I don't think we're going to make it to 5 and 6. But I applaud his, I don't know, I applaud his dedication. At no point during the 10 years
Sure.
did he say, I'm going to make another movie. And it must have really taken that time to film the actors or whatever he wanted to do, because apparently Edie Falco, who's in Avatar 2, she thought the movie already came out and flopped. And because she started getting people to saying, hey, you're in Avatar. And she's like, oh, I am? Or, I thought that movie already came out and flopped, So I thought that was funny because Edie Falco, my gosh, she's probably been in like 30 movies since she filmed her part like 4 years ago.
Right. I wonder, there was some kind of interview with Zoe Saldana, and there was something about how many movies she had been in. And I wonder if that was the what they were trying to talk about. As in, like, maybe.
Man, I love her, but man, she, like, I don't know. Like, maybe I haven't seen enough of her movies, but I feel like she should be a bigger star, and it makes me sad.
I would like her to be bigger. I think this is what bums me about the comic book movies and stuff. And we can tie this back into Daredevil and Charlie Cox.
Yes.
Zoe Saldana has been great ever since I first saw her in Pirates of the Caribbean, and she was great.
Yep, absolutely.
And I was bummed that she never turned up in any of the sequels. Like, she was the best lady character in that movie. She outshone Elizabeth, everyone. I was like, bring her back. She's fun and feisty and snappy and can put Jack in his place. Like, she's cool. Never came back. But I feel like once these people get stuck, because then she did Star Trek, then she did Guardians, Avatar. I feel like once you've gotten stuck in these kind of movies, it's kind of hopeless. You're now stuck in it. It's like Robert Downey Jr. hasn't been able to do anything other than Iron Man since 2008, minus like what, a couple of Sherlock Holmes movies.
I think you're right on that, because like either I think you have to either choose. But I don't know if that's even true. I don't even know if that's even correct, because I'm thinking about like something like Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
Because she was able to squeeze in like a couple of movies between all these movies. But I wonder if that's like a workhorse. Like she goes like run from movie to the other set, to this set, to this set, and doesn't really have time to like have a personal life.
But she was
and if you want to
before. She was a star before Iron Man 2. She had been
somewhat, I would say.
Yeah.
Like in my opinion, in my humble opinion, because like she was in the spirit, but like even in like when Iron Man 2 came out, I was like, oh, she's the voice from SpongeBob. But that was me. I don't know. Maybe she was slightly a bigger star because she was in those like teen comedies. Wasn't she the one with what the hell is it? It's like Nanny in New York or some shit. I don't know.
Like
Nanny Diaries, something like that. It was like some like little rom-com kids movie mid 2000s. Not sure.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, so maybe she did have a following. You're probably right. Because I only knew her from The Spirit, which I did enjoy. I don't give a damn what people say. I like it. And she was the voice of the Trident's daughter in the SpongeBob movie. And that's how I'm like, right. Oh, she's from SpongeBob.
I mean, I'm just because I'm interested in looking at her IMDb page, and I mean, obviously it goes back to like the 90s, but yeah, I mean, there's stuff that I recognize her in, starting from the early-ish 2000s, the Black Dahlia, the Prestige.
The Prestige! Oh my God, Prestige was another like sleeper hit, because I remember at the time, Illusionist had just came out. And The Prestige came out. And I remember, like, there's no movies in the movie theater. Let's go see a movie. I'm like, I don't want to see Prestige. So we went to go see Prestige. And it's probably the best Nolan movie.
I think so. Well, that's what I was thinking.
So hot take, audience. The best Nolan movie is Prestige. His personal best, with his heart and soul in it, Interstellar. Hot take. Take that. Not The Dark Knight. None of the Batmans.
No.
Nothing.
No. I've never seen Interstellar.
I wish I saw it in IMAX. But the thing that scared me away was the running time. And I was like, it's a sci-fi movie with 3 hours. Yeah. I can't sell that.
No. He burnt me. He burnt me with Batman: The Dark Knight Rises. That one burnt me, and I was done with Nolan after that. That
Really,
film,
it just
I
took one,
hated that movie so
one and
much.
done. Wow. Right now, when you said that, I could just picture you like in your Incrediboy gear, and you're looking at the Dark Knight poster, and you're like, "It tore me apart," and you ripped it off the wall.
Like, I vividly remember like walking out of the cinema being like being not annoyed but disappointed because I read an article where I can't remember where it was, Empire Magazine, I think maybe, where he was saying that they didn't really want to do a third one, but felt that they had a really important, worthwhile story to tell. And I thought, hey, I
Oh,
respect that. I respect that. And then I went and I'm like, this is Batman Begins all over again, you mother trucker. Like,
I
how dare
wish it
you?
was more Batman Begins.
It's exactly the
Because,
same thing.
but I think I told you my theory, or at least my idea. Oh, maybe this is kind of treading into what our next official Luke Deckard show.
Yeah.
But I'll say it here because it's just my audience, whatever. Uh, but my thing that would make the Dark Knight Rises better and really awesome to me is that at the end he's wearing his Batman Begins gear when he comes into town, and like he's going full like old school, can't turn his head, and like that it would stop the knife, it would stop bullets,
Yeah.
and he would be like a little slower, but he would take on Bane in that possible way. You know what I mean? He would still have the strength because he earned it, doing his Rocky training.
Yes.
Oh, did I ever tell you my theory about that too? Like, did you ever notice that it's like very similar to Rocky 3? Like Bane is Clubber Lang and
Okay.
freaking Batman is Rocky.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
that. I can see that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just hated Talia al Ghul. I thought she was boring. Catwoman was boring. I'm not knocking what's her name? Anne Hathaway. Like, she looked great.
Princess Diaries herself.
Yeah. But I was just like, you're boring, I also didn't buy Bruce just like not fixing his leg. Why did he not fix his effing leg? Like 7 years. What?
You know what's funny too? Yeah, I agree with you there because he was sitting around moping for 7 years. Oh my god. Ooh. And that kills me. Like, at the end of the Dark Knight, it really hypes up like things are gonna freaking start. Like, he can take it because he was born to take it. Yeah. Maybe it's Maybelline. And like he drives into the sunset, and then 4 years later, he's like, I gave up. I loved Rachel. Meanwhile, Rachel didn't care about him. Nope. Rachel was gonna be. Oh my god! And I don't they could have kept Harvey Dent alive. That could have been neat.
Yes.
That could have been a little cool thing where like he has amnesia and he has like skin grafts or whatever, and then Bane kidnaps Gordon and finds that letter, and then like they torture Harvey Dent, and then he remembers. Add something to it. Give us something other than Talia al Ghul, because that could have meant something. That could have been like instead of Talia al Ghul, it could have been Harvey Dent at the end, like being the lackey for Bane.
Yeah.
Because you can't have the Joker, because Joker's gone.
Yeah. The worst thing was turning Bane into nothing but muscle. Nothing but muscle. I was like, oh, come on. He's just here because he loves her. Come on.
You both know I have to kill you now. You just have to imagine the fire.
But we need to finish our Daredevil piece.
Yes. So in conclusion, I think the real fear is that we won't have another interpretation of Daredevil for at least 5 to 10 years, because right now he's being nuked and you can't grow plants there, and the water is unhealthy to drink. And in 5 to 10 years, you could hopefully have something new.
I would have liked two things, I think. One is if Marvel at least just blatantly said the Netflix stuff 1000% does not count. This is a new Daredevil. They've hinted at it. They've just sort of like pussyfooted about. They're kind of like, is this a kid show or an adult show? Sorry, I don't know. But should I be cursing? Should I not be cursing? I don't know.
It's okay. It's okay. I've been avoiding cursing just because because I want to test out the streaming thing.
Very hard for me.
So.
Damn. But no, I think
okay
if Marvel
curse
just
about
come out and said, "Look, this is clean slate, same actor but clean slate,
Start fresh, clean slate."
yeah, or just recast him. I mean, I love Charlie Cox, but he's also a great actor, and I would rather him go and do other good things rather than be stuck in an Iron Man situation doing crappy Marvel movies because they've he's I don't know, they have possession of his soul.
Yeah, he's stuck in the contract on Moron Mountain where he has to perform Looney Tunes every day.
Yeah. So I'm like those two. One of those would have been fine because, I. The other thing is, it's like they're doing Born Again, which is a really dark story.
It's title only. That's another thing. That's another thing about these freaking movies and adaptations where they're like Civil War, The Winter Soldier, and then you go and read these books and they're going to do this, they're going to do that, and when you watch the movie, none of that happens. So when you ever talk about Born Again, I'm like, no.
Yeah. No.
It's a new title only.
At least Days of Future Past, Apocalypse, and Dark Phoenix, at least they adapted those stories. Two not successfully, but two not successfully. One successfully, two not. But still, at least you got the story that they were advertising to some degree. Mm. I respect that. I respect that.
But it's your X-Men. It's your X-Men. What do you call it? What I'm trying to reference now, and that kind of it's your ex. It's that scene in Kill Bill when the bride is like, "I know you like your wife, or you want to protect her, but no, just walk away.
Walk away.
Just walk away." But, so I don't want to wrap it up right away because we can still talk about stuff after this. But I think we should get to the meat and potatoes of what this video is all about. So. Luke, or let's see. Should we start at the beginning? Because I always do this. I like doing this. So, in the beginning, Kirk sent Anthony a box, or it could have been Anthony sent Kirk a box. And then they sent each other boxes. And then I sent them boxes. And then I sent Luke a box. Not one box, but two boxes. Ooh. Because there was so much stuff for his box. It had to become two boxes.
Yes.
And Luke, tell the fine folks at home what you got in your box, or if you can remember all of it, because I did pack them a lot.
There was the first box.
That's right. I sent you 3 boxes. Oh my god.
Yes, you sent me twice, 2 occasions. You've sent me boxes, but the second occasion there were 2 boxes in the second occasion. The first one there was a Princess Diana calendar. I remember that. There was a coin. There was a coin. For a night
2 squaws.
Yes. I wasn't gonna say it, but yeah, that was in there.
I'll say it.
What else was in there? That one.
There was a card for Crazy Horse because I still had 6 of them. Now I'm all out of Crazy Horse cards.
Yes.
There was a Will Smith book, I believe. There's biography about Will Smith that they would have at a Scholastic fair.
Or something like that. Yep.
And then I put a Luigi in there. And the thing about where I remember there's a Luigi in there because you teased me at how much I paid for it for you. Because you're Coons Crate is not afraid to tell you how much they spent on this junk. Because I think it was maybe $12 or $15 for that little plush. And you're like, Coons Crate is not afraid to let you know how much they paid.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. And then that's all I can remember from the first one because that was such a long time ago. I was that was another lifetime ago.
Another life.
It was. And then the most recent one, there was Baby Yoda.
Yes. He's getting his Baby Yoda.
He's wearing a bandana because I just put it on him for no reason. I thought maybe he'll look cool with a bandana, but
he does. Look at him.
He's like,
he's like, what do you call it? The Man with No Name trilogy.
Yeah.
He's the Baby with No Name trilogy. Wow.
Baby Yoda.
I will never call him Grogu, for the record. Grogu is a stupid name.
It is a stupid name.
Stupid.
And then there was also Godzilla.
Yes, Godzilla.
You got Godzilla.
There he is.
There he is.
He's your favorite. I know Godzilla is your favorite. When I saw that, I'm like, I have to get Luke that. Absolutely, positively have to get Luke that.
One of the few Funkos that I'm like, that's actually a good Funko. I'm like, yeah, that's worth getting and keeping. Let's see what else was in there. Oh crap! There was a Star
Daredevil
Wars
Funko.
watch. There was what?
A Daredevil Funko. Oh no, wait.
No.
Deadpool Funko.
Deadpool. Yep. He's downstairs.
Deadpool.
He's downstairs on the bookshelf with my mystery books. Smoking his pipe. So he's downstairs. What else was in there? Oh
my God! You're wearing them.
yeah, man. They're so warm.
Yes. Yeah, I got Luke like a whole like set of Mandalorian stuff. There's like a Mandalorian t-shirt, Mandalorian pajamas. I think there was like a Mandalorian hat because he really loved the Mandalorian or whatever. I don't know. I just remember you like really loving it, and then like you were obsessed with like Baby Yoda. So I was like, I gotta get him all the Mandalorian stuff I could find.
Yeah, that was I did it. I enjoyed a lot the first season for sure, and Baby Yoda won me over. Baby Yoda won me over. Damn Star Wars in your marketing. You won.
Star Wars. Let's not get into that.
No. But anyway, I can't remember what else is in that box. There were other things.
I think there was a Cruella poster. I think there was.
Yes, that is on my wall. That is on my
Oh
wall.
my God, you have the Cruella poster on the wall.
I told you I'd hang it up on my wall, and so it's hung up on my wall over there.
Yes, that's awesome. Because I really did enjoy Cruella. I know that sounds weird to say,
but I got the poster.
It's really cool. And like the needle drops in that movie are spectacular. Excellent. Fantastic. I love Cruella. One of the better live action adaptations from Disney.
One of these days I'll see it.
Okay, so now we explained the boxes. I just realized, like, hang on. Let's get back on track. Stay on target. So Luke sent me a box.
Yes.
And I'm excited about this. I'm going to keep kayfabe. I'm not going to break kayfabe. I'm going to pretend that I don't know what's in here because I don't know what's in here.
Okay. Well, we'll wait. I'll wait until you open to then.
So I'm going to open this box. Right here, I have a pair of scissors.
Also, Captain Iron Dog says that Cruella was awesome.
Oh my God! I haven't even been looking at the chat. I'm so sorry, people.
And it's just now. So.
Okay, have we been streaming for at least an hour? That probably would explain it.
Yes, 47 minutes.
Yep, that's the thing I don't like about the streaming because, like, literally, you're waiting for your audience to show up, and then, like, when you want to get off, or no one showed up, like 45 minutes to an hour, all the people start coming in, and you're like, okay, let's keep going.
Yep, that is kind of what happened to my last live stream. We were like 2 hours in, and then people start turning up and talking in the chat, and I was like, God dang it.
I know. And the thing about your show is, even though I love your show, I try to tune in as much as I can, unless it's like really speculative, like movie news, then I can't watch that. I love you, but I can't do that. But I try to tune in as much as I possibly can, but it's like during my work hours, because it's like in the United States, or at least in like a EST time, Eastern Standard Time, you start at like 2:30 p.m. in the middle of the day. Oh, hang on. That's important. I'll be back, podcast. But hang on, I can probably still talk because I'm a lavalier.
Okay.
Hang on, I'll be back. Okay, so what I usually do is I try to watch your show because it's at 2:30, but it usually ends around 4 and it's perfect. Yeah. Oh, yes. Awesome. I got my Christmas gifts. Sweet. Alrighty. And I'm coming back. I don't know if you can still hear me, and I can't hear you, but maybe you can hear me. I got my lavalier on. Okay. Yeah, I just had a package delivered and a bunch of groceries, so I had to go lock the door. All right, I'm back. Did you guys hear me?
We could hear you the whole time.
Oh, awesome. Wonderful. So, I watch your show as much as I can. I love the Universal Monster one. I just started the other one last night, but I got too tired. But your guest, I don't know her name. Fantastic. Love her voice. Love the top 6 episode with Lena and the Lions.
Yes.
I think that was like the first one where I've made it all the way through. I was like,
think so.
yes, this is amazing.
I think so. I think so.
And I kept my word too with that one because I'm like, I'm going to watch Rocky for Lean on the Lions.
Yep.
And it was.
I'm
Oh my
ready for-
God. Oh my God. So breaking kayfabe, even though I said I wasn't going to, I was like, I don't even know. Like I'm overwhelmed. What is that line from Spider-Man? I am glad.
Okay. I'm glad.
Oh my
to hear
God.
it.
So people on the camera can't see it yet, but I'm just looking at this because I'm just in awe. So when the Batman came out, they showed all, like, I follow all the toy pages and they showed like all these cool things. And I was like, oh my God, the Batmobile is going to come out. And apparently it was not in the States. Like in the States, there's only the motorcycle. So I'm like, I want this so bad. And then Luke, he stepped in my DMs and was like, hey, babe, you want that? I was like, yeah, babe. So he got me the basically 1/6 scale Batmobile that's exclusive in the UK. Look at that. It comes with a 12-inch doll. That's how I knew online, because when they show these toys online, it's like this. And I'm like, holy shit, that's not the 3-inch. Those are those cheesy 12-inch dolls that, what is it, Spin Master? Yeah, Spin Master makes these 12-inch cheesy dolls. And I'm like, that means this can fit the 1/6 scale Batman. So when Luke said, I'm going to get you that, I'm like, damn it, now I got to get the Hot Toys. Because I've been thinking, like, should I get the Hot Toys? Should I do? And Luke's like, you definitely got to get the Hot Toys. So now that I have the Batmobile, the 1/6 scale UK exclusive Batmobile, which I'm pretty sure it's UK exclusive. People might be screaming at the screen like, no, it's available here, but I've never seen it at Target. Whenever I went on like Target.com or Walmart, never saw it. And then when I looked on eBay, I think all of them were from the UK. And then I was like, shit, it's only in the UK. But thank you, Luke.
You're
at
more
that.
than
It's
welcome.
Beautiful.
It's a beast.
Okay, Luke, now that you're here, let's actually talk about it. So there's a scene in the Batman.
Yes.
That has to do with this gift. And I just want to talk about it because I watched the 4K, which is beautiful. He's a goddamn vigilante. So I watched that movie. And there's a scene where it's all dramatic, where you hear the engine go, and then you see the car and the lights, and it starts spinning, and like and it keeps showing like Colin Farrell, and he's like,
yeah.
And like meanwhile, he could be walking away because the car's going, and he's like, because it's raining out, and then all of a sudden the car goes. And I'm like, wait, what? Did the car stall? Because then all the gangsters start leaving. And then like it finally kicks up. I'm like, was that supposed to be funny? Or was that supposed to be like badass? I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand, Luke. What is that supposed to be?
I can't
What's
tell
your
you.
thoughts?
I have no idea on that bit. I remember that the beginning of that bit being kind of cool, but it went on way too long. But that's like the story. That's like the moral of the story with that whole movie. But
Let's
it right
talk
before
about Batman, Luke?
Say again.
Let's talk about Batman, Luke.
Let's talk about Batman. Does the little
continue.
spitting thing happen right before the fire kicks in? Is that when it happens? I can't remember now.
The spitting.
Where it goes. Is that right before the fire in the back kicks on?
No, because I think the fire in the back kicks on like right away. And then it stalls, and then that's when everyone gets in their cars finally and gets on the road, and Batman causes way more damage,
right?
than was needed. You know what I mean?
What did you think of that?
Because
car
I think
chase?
they caused like a huge like throughway accident just to find out that they fucking read the card wrong. And meanwhile, like, oh my God, Luke, like. Okay, we really have to talk about it because that movie, I think we both agree, we know it's not original.
No.
We've seen it all before.
Yes.
But yet we still love it in a weird way, and like we want to see more of it. Like we want more, like we really like it. We want more. And you're a writer,
Yes.
and I'm a movie guy. I've seen so many movies. I've seen like ships on freaking, attack ships on the stars of Orion, you know what I'm saying? And I'm watching this movie and like I'm seeing Seven.
Yeah.
And it's
oh,
even
yeah.
right at the beginning of the movie. Because in the beginning of the movie Seven, Morgan Freeman's like, did the kids see it? And the
Yeah.
cop's like, what? What kind of question is that? And then the fucking beginning of the Batman, I think like somebody says, oh my God, the kid found the body. I was like, you feel like you're like, there's a reference, like you can reference movies, but like don't outright steal text because
Yeah.
they're blatantly stealing text with this movie.
Yeah.
And if I think I said it in the previous podcast, but I'll say it here because I'm sure there's a new audience, new people, and it's nice looking HD. If Batman had watched more movies, he would have solved the case faster. If he had seen Black Mass with Johnny Depp, Departed with Jack Nicholson, Seven by David Fincher, and a lot of other movies, he would have solved the crimes right away. What are your thoughts, Luke, on this movie? Tell me.
I agree. I would have to go back and rewatch it all to remember all of the references that because I saw it twice, I think. Once I saw it, I downloaded it. I pirated it.
You fucking Jack Sparrow!
Because I wanted
Pirate.
to see it, but I wasn't going to go to the cinema to see it. But then when it came out, I purchased it and we watched it that way. And yeah, so there were a lot. It was. I didn't find the Riddler that clever.
No.
He was kind of. I think turning him into. I think the kind of the.
No, Zodiacs. That's right. They turned him to the Zodiac.
Yes. Zodiac was you could tell Zodiac was a big influence on this guy, and we didn't need that. I like Riddler being like real riddly. Like I do like Jim Carrey's the Riddler because he's at least giving him riddles to puzzles to solve, and I'm like, all right, that is at least that's fun. You could have done something in between the grittiness and the campiness with him rather than just everything from his kind of his costume to it was just like we could have just maybe not called him the Riddler. We could have just called him the trouble.
Or even at the end, like it's revealed that he is the Riddler or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, something. So I think that was a slight letdown. I think.
Yes.
But go on.
But like, there's something about it that's really engaging. I think it's like the acting and like the world building.
Yes.
And I think those like really make it stand out from everything else because it's like it goes on way too long, Luke. It goes way too long. Like I think Batman Forever was kind of smart to keep it to like 3 or 4 like Riddler clues. Like the first one is see you soon with like the knights or whatever, and then like the ping pong is like the last one, and it's like only 3 or 4. It's not that many. And that's all it needed. And like I feel like Riddler in this one does like way too many.
Yes.
It goes on way too like I can't like the thing that really bothers me about this movie is like the movie is somewhat realistic or like gritty realism, but yet the freaking news is like broadcasting a freaking conspiracy theory video in its entirety on the news. And it's like the news wouldn't do that. The news would like back it up and like play clips from it, but they would never fully on just like we're gonna press play on YouTube and you just watch this. What's another thing? There's that weird shit, and then there's the whole thing about the Bruce Wayne thing. So the thing that always bothers me, and I always talk about this because I like talking about it because it takes just as long to talk about it as it happens in the movie. So Batman is driving in his car, and they do the Silence of the Lambs editing where it's happening at 2 different times. There you go, another reference, Silence of the Lambs, because in Silence of the Lambs, you think the police are at Buffalo Bill's house, but it's actually Jodie Foster, and the editing's all messed up because it's movies. And this one, the little old lady goes to it, and he's like, "Get Alfred, something bad's about to happen." Oh, something already happened bad. And And it's that scene straight from Peter Pan, where Peter Pan gets the little birthday gift, and he says, "What's in it?" And it has like an actual ticking bomb in it, and that's exactly what happens to Alfred. He gets a ticking bomb just like Peter Pan, and then he blows up, and then he's upset, and then they play the conspiracy theory on the news, and then Batman goes to see John Turturro. And then they talk for 5 to 10 minutes about, oh, your father, I knew your father. He came here. And they talk for 5 to 10 minutes. And then Bruce goes to see Alfred, which he should have went there first.
Yeah.
Just saying. And then they go through the shit again. And then, oh my God. And then it goes to like Catwoman, like talking about something that like happened. Like she reveals that she's like the daughter or something. And I'm like, wait a minute. So John Turturro didn't know that was his daughter, and he was like flirting with his daughter, but he didn't know that was his daughter. Chinatown, another fucking reference.
Wait, so he are we sure he didn't know? I thought he knew. He's just a creepy. He's just a creep.
In my last viewing, because it seems like a surprise when she says she's a Kyle. I'm Selena Kyle. So and so Kyle's my mother. He seemed legitimately shocked at that. Like, oh my God, I didn't know that. So
okay, weird.
Yeah, that's my latest reviewing, because I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, fuck, this movie like has half an hour of fat. They could have cut it out. Because honestly, what it should have been is like the house blows up, and then he goes right to Alfred, and then even cut that shit down. Cut the part when he says, I went to see John Turturro, and he told me blah, 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 blah. Cut all that shit out. Just cut to like him getting there and said, you never told me. And then Alfred saying, well, your father was a good guy, and he sometimes wasn't a good guy. But then I'm a good guy, and you're a good guy, so we're all good. And it's like, you just cut it to that, and it's fine.
Yes.
It's like the Wonder Woman with 2 openings. You cut one or the other.
Yeah, it's interesting because at the moment, like from a writing standpoint, the current book that I'm working on at the moment, the chapter that I'm just on, I'm like, okay, I feel like this is a little bit too repetitive of an earlier chapter, and it's kind of the same thing. It's like he's having my protagonist is having two conversations with 2 different people, right? But they're the same, but they're connected to on the same topic, and I'm like, well, I need these 2 conversations to happen, but there's not. I need to think harder about making them different, so that, and that was the biggest problem with those 2 scenes, is it's like, nah, like we didn't need it. It was just, and also because it went one right after another. Like if something could have like stopped Batman from getting to Alfred to have that conversation, that final, to clear things up, like say that for the end of the movie. You know what I mean? Or something like that.
Possibly, but I still think like cut one or the other, because I think hearing it on the news, maybe not even seeing it on the news, because I think what they do is they go through the orphanage, they see it on the screen.
Yes.
And then he knows then what happened. But then they play the conspiracy theory on the video, and he sees that on the news. Yes. And then you see, I'm here to see John Turturro. So right now you've learned it from The Room, because you've clicked in your mind like, okay, Thomas Wayne was up to shady shit.
Yes.
And then it's explained again in the viral video, and then it's explained again by John Turturro, and then it's explained again by Alfred. You got like 4 different scenes, back to back to back.
Yes.
Bathroom break, that happens in the movie, and they're like, cut some of that out, and I don't understand why they left it in there. Because like honestly, if you cut one of those things out, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
Or at least maybe even like just cut down one of the scenes, like maybe just have like Bruce Wayne sees Alfred and they don't really say much. They just look at each other and they know like it's going to be okay. And then he looks at the bat signal, and then, it cuts to Batman talking to Selena Kyle or some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even do that.
Yeah.
Cut it down.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. I totally, one of the 2. I would be interested to see an editor try and rework it. Try and rework and kind of split them up between things if possible. But also, I also agree that half of it either trimmed down massively or completely cut. A lot of it. Totally agree.
Yeah. But I like it's like it's weird though, but I like it. It's like I think it's really Robert Pattinson and how it's sort of different. There is no Bruce Wayne.
I like
He is
that.
fully engulfed in Batman.
Yes.
Like there is nothing else in the world but Batman.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that. And then at the end, like he realizes he has to be like something more than what he's been doing. And it's all almost done without any dialogue. It's like when he's like walking up with the girl and he puts her down and he's about to walk away and then she like holds onto his arm and he like looks at her and like they don't say anything and it's like it's so fucking well done. Like that's a great Batman moment.
It's also kind of I like it, but I also hate that scene at the end.
Oh, you hate
I'm mixed on it. I'm mixed. Maybe hate's too strong a word. I'm mixed on it because I'm
mixed on it.
I think my problem with it is as much as I liked it, I don't know why this time around watching a Batman movie, I just couldn't get over the fact that there's just this guy dressed up like this in a room with all these cops.
Man, I don't even know your name. He's a goddamn vigilante.
And I'm just like,
happy fucking Halloween.
I'm just like, all these cops sitting here looking at this guy, like just this rando just coming with this mask, like pretending to be all tough. It just feels like there was a part of it was like just made me feel like I was looking at someone at like a Comic-Con, like pretending to be like when you see someone like in the real world pretending to be Batman, like they don't look like a badass. They just don't. Like
But I think that kind of adds to the charm of it, honestly. I think that's underlying why I kind of like it because it just seems like some fucking weirdo who's dressed as Batman because I feel like that's what Batman is. Batman's a fucking weirdo.
It's true.
So I think it kind of works for it. I think that's like one of like the reasons why it works. I don't understand why you're mixed, but it's like sort of like I think it's why because like me and you, we really can't put our finger on why this movie works. But I think that's like one of the weird fucking things about it because he's there in his homemade gear. Like literally homemade gear because none of it looks perfect. None of it looks like it almost looks like he was building as he was going. You know, like okay, shit, I need to add this here, or maybe this needs to come off. And it looks wonderful. It looks great, and I love that. What we were just talking about too. You just talked about like how he's walking around, roaming around.
Yes, he it's just like sometimes he looks out of place, and I think that moment at the end, particularly, where you just got this guy in a cape and a mask, help. I'm like this is too. He's like it's like it's just a little bit too cheesy because the world
too cheesy
for that particular moment.
Agree to disagree. I think it's perfect. I understand your mix. I get it. I see it. I see what you mean. I see your thoughts.
Right.
As the guy in the Bug's Life said, I'm picturing it in my brain. I see it. Was another moment I liked from the movie. I was just thinking about it when we were talking about it. It's kind of silly, kind of not. What the hell was it? Not Penguin. Oh yeah, Penguin's a sort of a reference. That's almost straight up like Al Capone from Untouchables. Robert De Niro's performance.
First, let's talk about Penguin for a second, if you don't mind.
Okay, let's talk about Penguin.
What's your thoughts on Penguin, on this Penguin? Did we even need him in this movie?
I know people out there are going to be upset with me. I completely saw Colin Farrell through the makeup.
Yeah.
I know everyone said he disappeared and he was his own thing, but I'm like, that's fucking Colin Farrell. It's like his eyes, you know, it's like those are totally him. And it doesn't take me out of the movie, granted, but I was like, I see Colin Farrell. And I think it's the thing is, I think to properly explain why I think you have a problem with it and why I don't, is because I think Penguin in this movie is just purely world building.
Yeah.
He is not comic book because I feel like you're bringing that luggage. You're bringing that luggage to the movie. You're bringing in that Burgess Meredith. You're bringing all the history. You're bringing all the books. You're like, this is Penguin. I know Penguin. And why is Penguin in this movie? He doesn't need to be in a movie. Meanwhile, I'm seeing Penguin as sort of like, he's the shelf in here, you know, or he's the, right here. He's not that important, but he's here and he'll be important someday. But he's just right here, you know. It's just it's world building. I think that's what they're doing, and that's how I saw Penguin in this because he's not even like Penguin yet. Like I feel like Penguin is sort of like they're making fun of him when they call him Penguin, which I believe so in the movie because whenever they call him, he's like, but it's like he hasn't grown into what he's going to become. Right now, he's just like bottom tier, like C plus character. Like his arc would probably end in like a third or fourth movie where he's finally becoming that character. But you know what they'll do, Luke? The next one will open up with an action scene, and they'll have Penguin in the beginning of the movie, and he'll be arrested, and we will never see him again.
We've got his own TV series coming out.
Luke, to me, it does not exist until it's until it's filmed and I see the credits roll. Until then, it exists. But right now, it's rumor. That's sort of how I see. Like
your chat, by the way.
Because The Rock, I don't know. I think I'm just burned out from all the DC news. Because The Rock is like, Henry Cavill's back, and Henry Cavill's back, and then Gal Gadot. I'm so proud to be in a movie. I can't wait to see my new adventure. And then 72 hours later, her movie's dead in the water. So it's like I don't believe the movie news. I almost feel like it's just someone who's like literally has a glass to the wall, and it said like, they said something about a Penguin movie, and meanwhile they're like, Penguin's really good in your movie. He's not like the TV show, and they're like listening, like, I think they're going to work on the Penguin TV show. Meanwhile, it's like, he's not like the TV show. So I don't know. I don't believe any of the DC news anymore. I can't, Luke.
I'm trying to see if they've actually filmed it. You have people in your chat. Respond to them. You've got Jake and Captain.
Oh my God, Luke! Thank you for telling me what I should do because I'm totally new to this. Okay, Cruella was awesome. Been here the whole time, just enjoying the conversation. Awesome. Okay, good. Don't think I've ever seen that Batmobile in the stores. Exactly right. This has never been in stores, and thank you, Luke. You're the best. You're awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. What else? Thumbs up to the OG of YouTube poops. Best Batman is Adam West. Adam West. Or the animated one. Yep. He was good too. Penguin was awesome. He killed it. He's just there. Exactly. He's just there. It's just him and his best guy. This happens.
Yeah. Apparently they have not started filming. Apparently it films between January and August of this year and will come out next year, allegedly.
If they film. Yes. Who knows? Allegedly. As like Red Letter Media would say, allegedly.
I know. I kept doing that in my last. Every time I say allegedly, I'm referencing Red Letter Media, but only you would probably know that because
allegedly
we were doing that last night. Oh my God, that Batman is awesome! Holy shit!
Yeah, it's going to be the right scale, isn't it? Holy shit! HARD. Damn, look at that. So when Robert Pattinson one comes along. That's going to be perfect scale on the shelf.
Crap, yeah.
Fuck. That's awesome. Thank you, Luke.
We got Batman Forever.
Thank you.
Val Kilmer.
This is the Batman Returns.
Oh, right. All right. For some reason, it looked like, that's so awesome. Shit, that's awesome.
I just took him out of the box. I bought this guy. Okay, so when I got my job, when I first got employed, at a good paying job, I should say, I was like, I'm going to spend my first paycheck on one of those hot toys that I've always wanted, because I think I saw these damn things when I was in high school. I think I mentioned it once or twice where I was in high school on a field trip in New York City, and we walked into like this collectible shop, and they had a Hot Toys Two-Face, and I had the freaking money. I had it. I had like $500 or $1,000 in my bank account at that time, and I could, or plus, I think I had a lot of money because I get a lot of money at, when you turn 18 here. It's long story. I'm Native American. We get money. So when I turned like 18, I had all this money, and I could have gotten that Two-Face, but I'm like, I'll get it later. Never did. So I think it was last year, maybe 2 years ago now, because it was 2020 around that time. Hot Toys was like, we're making the 10-year anniversary of the Two-Face figure. And I was like, I got to get the Two-Face. So Two-Face is actually displayed. Yep, I finally got it, Luke, after all these years. And I'm glad I got this one because this one's totally better than the one that they sold back then in 2009. Hang on. Let me get my face out of there.
Look at that. That is awesome.
Yeah.
It does look really good. That does look really good.
Yeah, but that's going to be like perfect scale with that Batmobile when I get Robert Pattinson. That's going to be so awesome. And I love that Robert Pattinson, that hot toy. They really did a good job because he's going to have the moving eyes. Oh, wait.
He has moving eyes, like some sort of weird Victorian doll.
So on the back of the Batman head, you could take off the head, and then you could adjust the eyes where he could look left or look right.
Oh.
So I don't know it could be seen, but like you could actually turn his eyes, and there's like a little box
Oh my
around
God.
there that's like smooth. Hang on, right there.
Oh, now I
There's like
see
a
it.
box.
Now I see it. Wow.
Yeah, and you could move the eyes around. Man, that's a great likeness. I don't know if it could pick up on camera.
No, it does. That is sharp. Like, I like that a lot.
But like, yeah, this was the first hot toy I got because I'm like, I gotta get these, and like these his little gaunts or gauntlets, whatever the hell they're called.
Yeah.
They're super sharp. Like right now, whenever I prick myself now, I'm thinking I'm going to bleed. But yeah, that's awesome. And I'm going to get the Robert Pattinson one. I was kind of thinking about getting the Green Goblin hot toy, but I'm not sure if I have enough room for it.
It
I'm
does
super
look cool.
nostalgic. I'm
It
super
does look
nostalgic for that first Spider-Man movie. Oh,
Yes.
look, let's do some story time. We'll get back
Yes.
into Batman in a second. Story time. So when I was a kid and Spider-Man came out,
Yes.
Hershey's, the candy bar, had like this thing like, if you hand in like 20 barcodes, you'll get a free poster. So I got all the the candy bars, and I sent them in, and it said like you get one of the two posters. So I said I want the Green Goblin poster, and the day came, the mail came. I got the poster, opened it up. It was Spider-Man. I was like, no! So I had to write a letter. They're like, apologies, you can keep the Spider-Man poster. We're going to send Green Goblin. And I got the Green Goblin poster, and he's like there on his glider, his gilder. He's there. Awesome.
I love that.
So that's a little fun story. Although I think that poster now, because it's been moved from house to house to house for the last couple of years, I think it's like destroyed.
Yeah.
But I love that poster.
So my parents, when my sister came to visit, I asked my parents if they would pack a whole suitcase full of all my stuff. You might have seen this, but this is one of the I'm quite pleased to have this. But it's the first TV Guide appearance of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. It says
That's
Tobey Maguire's
wild.
Spider-Man. And I'm like, oh, like I don't know why. There's just something quite nostalgic about this, especially because I can look
I get it,
aside
dude.
and see what was on TV. Like at 10:30 p.m. on a midnight on a Sunday in whatever year this was.
Dude, I get that nostalgic. What do you call it? There's a magazine that they used to make in the 2000s and like 90s, but it was like Disney Adventures magazine. I think I threw some of them in your box, and I sent one to Anthony. I sent him my favorite one, where it was about the Disney's Lost Empire Atlantis, and he opened it up, and it had like the submarine, and all the levels were broken down, like those textbooks or encyclopedias.
Yeah.
And I had that for the submarine, and I sent that to Anthony, and hopefully he enjoys it. But that was like my favorite Disney magazine, like that one, your little Spider-Man magazine there.
Yeah.
But man, I'm so nostalgic for that era of like books and magazines because they were just like so eye-grabbing.
Yeah.
And nowadays, like,
they just I won't get it out, but they just sent me another one. It's an old Star Trek magazine, but it has the blueprints to Voyager. I'm gonna get it.
Ooh, that's like you got to get that like framed.
I know, right? I really should.
Yeah, get that framed, dude. Because I'm getting into frames. Speaking of frames, like I'm waiting for a 24 by 36 poster because I want to finally put my Jinx posters into like professional frames.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like that. Let me see yours. What's your Star Trek thing?
We got the Star Trek magazine here. And where is it? First, you have like a bunch of like what's really cool. I don't know, these don't come out, but like there's all these old like Defiant sketches. Like they show you the evolution of the Defiant, which was in Deep Space Nine. Where's the Voyager? Where did it go? Ah, here it is. Yes. So you can, I guess I could pull it out. But like it gives you the bridge on this side. Right?
Oh wow, that needs to be framed, dude. That needs to actually, put that in a frame or something.
And then you got this.
That's so cool.
I know.
That's so cool. So here's my example of what I just got framed because for the longest time it was just in the backdrop for my what do you call it? It was just a backdrop for when I display pieces originally, but I finally got it framed and I love it because now it's officially in a frame. It's the I, Tonya poster. It's like a collectible poster from the Regal Cinema.
Yeah.
And this is so freaking awesome. I don't know if it'll come in focus there, but this is so cool. Yeah, it's like almost like watercolor or something, and it's so cool. And like the ice is breaking underneath.
I like the ice.
So cool. Man, I love this poster, but I gotta wait until I get the Jinx poster up because I got 2 Jinx posters that I'm gonna put side by side to save on space,
Yes.
or put in one frame to make it easier on me, I guess. But yeah,
Because I know you love McDonald's toys.
yes,
I don't.
I have a
I
whole
don't
shelf
know if you
dedicated to them.
I don't know if you loved these, but they also sent me these old ones from like the early 2000s. Do you have them? You must do.
It's not the McDonald's one, but it's similar. This is Mattel's new line where they've done Pixar movies.
Oh, look at that. I just remember being quite like surprised like this was like a McDonald's toy.
I know back in the day they really tried. They really did
Like,
try.
It just looks like him. Really well.
Like here's an example of one of the era when they tried. Oh damn it, he was on a peg. Shit, I didn't know he was on a peg. Back in the day they really tried because I thought this was awesome. This is a McDonald's toy. It's Tarzan.
Yes.
But it's like a full like 5-inch figure
Yeah.
that has like articulation and everything.
Yeah.
And it was a McDonald's toy. They don't do that anymore.
No.
Like, let me show you an
Captain-
example of what they do nowadays. Because this is supposed to be like a nostalgic like throwback, but it doesn't barely have any of the articulation of the original one.
There it is. Oh yeah, it's what you would expect to get like in a cereal box or something. And that's a bit of scary.
Yeah.
Come on. I've never broken into buying Power Rangers.
No. I don't think I ever got into that as a kid. Like, I really think I was like just mostly into movies where I would try to watch the kid shows, but I think my attention span was too short to last through the commercials where I was just like, yeah. Throw a movie in.
The reason I think I liked it the most, and this is the problem when you're a kid, right? And your parents are like, you're not allowed to watch something. You're gonna try and watch it. So I was not allowed to watch Power Rangers, which automatically meant I'm going to do everything I can to watch Power Rangers, right?
Yeah.
And so therefore, because of that, I think that's what got me into it the most, because they said you can't do it. Like, it's highly likely that I probably wouldn't have been into it as much had they just been like, just didn't say anything. But they just were like really adamant that I wasn't allowed to watch it because like the fighting, I think they were afraid the fighting would influence me. And I'm like, but I'm already watching.
Oh my God, Luke. Oh my God. That just gave me freaking like Vietnam flashbacks. Okay. So like as a kid, I was like really into wrestling, and it wasn't because like I watched it on TV. It was because when I went to my cousin's house, because like for like a week or two, I was dropped off there to catch the bus, and I was there so early. I would play PlayStation, and I played Raw's War. So it was like wrestling. And I got into wrestling through that, and I really liked the characters. I really liked the plot lines because similar to, like Power Rangers, it's just the plot line. It's not real, it's just characters. And like The Rock and Mankind, these dudes were my dudes. Like, they were awesome. Yeah. So like at like family gatherings, because like when you're a kid, you talk about what you're into. So I would talk about wrestling, and they would just like steamroll over me and say like, no, that is bad. You're going to get hurt. That is so dangerous. Meanwhile, I'm not recreating wrestling. I'm literally just watching the TV show. Like, that's all I'm doing. I'm just telling about plot lines of what they do.
Kids in a trailer park trying to jump off the top of their house, and they broke their back. I think every other kid in the country is going to do that.
Yeah, that was so me, and like it literally killed my love for wrestling until like a couple years ago, where I finally got back into it because I'm like, let's see what's going on, and got back into like collecting figures and stuff. But like, because I was so into it, like I collected like all the Maximum Sweat characters. Because like, okay, I should explain, Luke, because I know you're not into wrestling. So there's these characters that were like basically Incredible Hulk figures, but they were all the wrestling characters. So it was like Undertaker, Kane, The Rock, Mankind, but they all look like the Incredible Hulk. It was awesome. And the gimmick for them is like you put water into them and you press the button and it looked like they were sweating. I don't know.
God.
Every toy had gimmicks back then, but I freaking loved them. I freaking love those toys. Like I had a Goldberg, I had a Randy Macho Man. Oh my God. Like even like when I was a little kid, like I don't have my original Roddy Piper. This is a new one I bought over the years, but I actually had one of these as like a kid before I even knew who the hell they were. Like I had this guy, Honky Tonk Man, and similar to you, like when I got old enough to talk about him, my family was like, "Oh, you're going to get hurt. It's so dangerous," and it just killed my love for it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can relate, Luke. I can relate.
I'm not alone in my pain.
Oh my god. How could they laugh when I was in so much pain?
Right.
Rainbow
You have
Remedy.
Captain Iron Dog has said a few things in the chat.
Let's see
you
what
want
Captain Iron Dog has said. He's just
Do
there.
you
Yep, Penguin's
do
just
you
there.
do you know how to do you want to know how like put them up on the screen? Do you want to learn how to do that?
Yeah, how do I teach me, Luke? Teach
do I
me how
do?
to Dougie.
Okay, because now I got to think about it because I'm not in. There we go. There's a button. You've
I
done it.
really want the hot toy of Val Kilmer. I do too, but you know what? I don't want the sonar suit. I want the suit from the beginning of Batman Forever, because the suit in the beginning of Batman Forever is like a revamped version of this.
Yes,
You
I
know,
like
like
that one.
when he comes down, dude. Okay, so I just rewatched Batman Forever, and that movie is too fucking horny. Like that whole
God,
thing,
yeah.
like everything in that first 5-10 minutes is so fucking sexy. Like when he comes down and he's like there, it's like perfect, and like it's like Nicole Kidman, and she has her chest out, and she's just like in her hair, and then she gets down there, and her lips, her eyes, the way it's lit, and like how Batman looks because he's got like the green thing and. It looks amazing, and I love that. So, like,
Yeah.
I'm not into the sonar suit,
No,
but I would totally love the revamped Batman Return suit when he comes in the beginning of the movie. Sorry, his foot keeps coming off.
no.
Push it back in there. No.
Do
No,
you?
but yeah,
Go on.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna do you because I always view I know people I think like Batman Forever is kind of meant to be like a proper sequel, but I never ever even when I was a kid considered them sequels to
No, I
Batman 1
consider
and
them
2.
sequels. I almost consider Batman Begins a sequel until The Dark Knight came out, because at the time I wasn't into like magazines or reading all that stuff or interviews. So in 2005, I legitimately thought it was going to be a prequel to the Batman 89, because at the end they just showed the card, and that could have easily been Jack Nicholson when he's Jack Napier because he's playing with his cards. And I literally thought it was leading up to that. I'm like, oh, it's just a prequel. Because I think that's all I knew about going in. I'm like, okay, it's a prequel, it's a prequel, it's a prequel. So when I went in there, I'm like, oh, he's because not only that, but like all the movies had similar titles. So it was like Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, Batman Begins. So it's like, oh,
That's
Batman
true.
Begins goes to the beginning of the Batman. So it's like Batman Begins, Batman Forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can
That's
see
my
that.
thought process.
It makes sense. I was too much in my Smallville head because I was like I think I knew or I'd read or something that this was just updated version of the Batman origin story, kind of like Smallville being the modern version of.
Okay, so you were into TV and thought of like origins and stuff like. Okay.
Yeah. So therefore, I didn't think about that. But interestingly, it's funny and also kind of annoying that both Batman Begins and the Batman end in the exact same way with that same tease for that same character we've seen a billion times.
No, of all the things like that really disappoint me about the Batman, because there's not much that like, although like I always said like, oh, you should cut the movie. Overall, the movie doesn't really hardly disappoint me, except for that part where I'm like, oh, okay, that's clearly studio meddling. They want to leave like little breadcrumbs for the sequel because it easily does not need to be in the movie, and I don't like what they're doing with it. And I didn't like the deleted scene because I didn't understand what Batman was saying. I didn't understand what Joker was saying. I can't see Joker, and it's too much going on, whatever it is, because it's too many teeth. It's the Elephant Man head. I hope they don't go with that, or at least tone it down when they actually do the movie, because that deleted scene was ass. It's like I can't understand anything. I need subtitles. I'm old.
Yeah, I don't want to see it either. I would love for them to just not do. Please, just don't do Joker. For once, listen to the fans. Please, don't do it.
Oh, you know what? Now that I'm reading this comment, it says, I totally thought the Incredible Hulk movie was a sequel to Hulk because it began with him in the jungle. I do like that, but it also just it just popped in my head, like, you know what would be really fucking cool? If we brought back Eric Bana, baby. Bring back Eric Bana. I think that would be so dope, because I didn't think he was that bad. I was going to say,
controversial. I don't really dislike the Hulk movie, the first one, 2003.
Right, Luke.
Not
What the
that
fuck
bad.
is like
Great
everything
music.
about that movie is so cool. There's some things that are like a little too crazy, but I really love the style of it. Like he's like jumping from one panel to the other, and then like you have Jennifer Connelly there, and she's great. It kind of goes a little over the edge with the dogs. I'll say that.
Okay, yeah.
But I do like to you, to me, to humanity. I love that movie. So it's not controversial, Luke. You're safe in this house. The original
Safe
2003
space.
Hulk movie is so good. So good. Oh my god,
I do also like Edward Norton's Hulk movie. I think both Hulk movies are decent. I do.
Hot take, I didn't like the 2008 movie. Hang on, I'm just getting a text.
Let me clarify. I didn't like it at first. At first I didn't like it. But I think what has happened is over the years, with the amount of Marvel movies that have come out, when I've gone back to that one, I'm like, you know what? It's not that bad. It's actually better than some of the stuff that we have now. And I'm like, I also liked. I think I just really liked
Liv Tyler.
I like Edward Norton as Bruce. I thought I was like, yeah, that worked. And also, I appreciated that the visual style was not the same as Iron Man, and like it had a different grain. It looked grainier and different whereas now everything is just so Marvel looking, so bland, colorless. And I was like, there was at least something there. There was something.
Yeah.
There was.
But although I'm not 100% on that movie, there's a line that I always like quoting from that movie, which is, "Damn it, Betty, I have to try," is when he's on the plane and he has to jump out of it.
Yeah.
Well, that's a cute little scene because he's up there and he's like, "I don't have my mojo. They took my mojo." And he like jumps out the plane and he doesn't think he's going to turn into Hulk. And he's like, "Oh shit." He lands on the ground. That's cute. I like that. I like Liv Tyler. She's the best. I thought the Thunderbolt Ross was great casting. I didn't like the design of the Hulk though. I think that's one of the things I'm like,
he wasn't. No, I agree.
I like the Ang Lee Hulk. I like the plump, jumping around. That was so cool to see that they really haven't done that. Because like I guess they can't really do that because they can only do that when he's on the run. But I love when he jumps in the Ang Lee thing because that's what he fucking does in the books.
Yeah,
it's like he's literally jumping off the page, like literally in the movie because there's like pages being flipped as he's jumping.
Yeah.
Luke, I want to watch that tonight. Can I watch that tonight, Luke? I'm going to watch it.
There's more comments in your chat.
Okay, I'll talk to the chat. I want to talk to Luke.
We got to do both. We got to do both.
Okay, totally fine. Okay, I read that one. Bring back Eric Bana. # bring back Eric Bana. It's funny you mentioned Smallville because when I was a kid, I was convinced that was a prequel to the Donner movies.
Oh, interesting.
I spent so long to try headcanon as far as it could fit together, on how it could fit together. See, we're not the only ones. I'm not alone.
Speaking of Smallville, Clark Kent right here.
Somebody save me. Never watched the show.
You're missing out.
I might check it out because now that I have more time, I've been watching shows. I've been going through The Simpsons, started season 1.
You know what, dude? You have been making me want to go. I've been rewatching The Simpsons because of you, right?
Yes.
So
look, the early seasons are pretty good, although there's like too many relationship ones because I think there's like 2 episodes. Like I'm like, who did this booking? Like in one episode, it was Marge cheating on Homer, and then the next one it was like him dancing with the stripper. I'm like,
yes,
you don't do that. You got to put some buffer between them. You can't have 2 because I can only imagine like watching them weekly. Yes, and you'd be like, I just watched this last week. What the fuck?
I literally just watched those 2 episodes like today.
Oh really? But yeah, I'm in the middle of season 3. I think I just finished Lisa's Pony. I think that's the last one I watched.
Right. Yep.
And that one's really good.
Yeah.
What else? Oh yeah. So I'm saying I might give Smallville a chance because I have time now. Because I'm also dipping my toe into Frasier. I just finished season 1 a couple days ago.
Yep. Frasier's good.
So I love Frasier. Like So in 2011, when I lived in LA, like Frasier like saved me from fully going totally sad because I had like moved from college, so I was like on my own,
Right.
and like everyone was busy doing their own thing. So like I would just like watch Frasier at like on the Hallmark Channel or whatever, and they played
Sure,
like a whole block of like 3 hours of Frasier. And I watched like it from season 1 all the way to whatever season 9, 10, whatever, how many they are. And it was so amazing just to watch them back to back
Yes.
through like however long that time period was. And it
Did you
just
watch Cheers then?
no, I've never watched. I can't say never. I've seen a couple episodes, but I've never really watched it.
You need to watch Cheers.
Right,
You
I
don't
think
have Frasier.
after
You don't have
these-
Frasier without Cheers.
That's true. Frasier's probably one of the best spin-off shows.
Yes.
And speaking of spin-off shows, the show I really want to give a shot, and I'm willing to pay the $150 for the Blu-ray set, is Better Call Saul. I really want to check that out before even watching Breaking Bad. I want to watch Bob Odenkirk. I love Bob Odenkirk so much that I'm willing to pay $150 to watch how many hours of him on Better Call Saul.
So you've never seen Breaking Bad?
No.
Okay, so I've only seen like 2 episodes of it,
Yes.
and I didn't take to it. Right? I there was just something about it. I think it might have been like just where I was in life at that point. It was just too dark, too gritty. It just wasn't for me as a young man. But so therefore, I've never seen Better Call Saul either. But I've been told that you really should watch Breaking Bad before you watch Better Call Saul, and so I'm torn because I'm like I kind of want to see it, but that means I'm the instructions from my friends are you really need to. I'm like, do I need to? Do I have to? They're like, yes. I'm like, oh, damn it. What do I do?
I think I'm going to go straight into Better Call Saul. That's just me, though, because I love Bob Odenkirk. And after he had that heart attack and almost died, I was like, no, too soon. That guy needs to keep making shit until he's like 90. Because I hardly knew the guy. Like, I knew him from some things, but when I saw Nobody, that made me a fan for life. Like, we're blood brothers. Like, your family, Bob Odenkirk. Like, I love you. I love you for life. Did you see Nobody?
No.
Check out Nobody. And, like, if you don't think he's like America's like sweetheart, seriously, when he had that heart attack, I think like everyone in the world and on Twitter were like, "Don't die, stay alive."
Yes.
And like, I think when he woke up, I think he was like overwhelmed at how much love he had. Like, I could only imagine what that's like.
No kidding, right?
Where you like, because that's almost like you died and you get to see what everyone said about you, and it's so weird.
Yeah.
But like, wow, like everyone loved him. Like literally, like I don't think I saw any bad news on it, and like people hardly even know like who his show is or whatever. They're like, no, this guy is amazing. So
yeah, there was a lot of love.
Yeah, but definitely check out Nobody. Like Nobody is probably one of the best movies. Like to me, that was like Top Gun before Top Gun. You know what I mean? Because like Top Gun now. Because to me, Top Gun is like the best fucking movie, man. The best movie. And I'm glad it's like the top grossing movie of the year. That just makes me so happy.
Same. It's annoying because like on one end, I'm always like rolling my eyes at like, oh, here we go. Another sequel, another legacy, blah, blah, blah. But like there was just genuine like heart and soul put into Top Gun.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm like, that's fine. So therefore, that is fine.
Yes. Therefore, that is fine. Yes, I agree. But like, can we talk about Top Gun?
Can we talk about Top Gun?
Let's always talk about Top Gun. So first, let's read some comments. Let's go to the chat. I did see when I just took it down. Captain Iron Dog says Eric Bana's Hulk was basically comic book Hulk, right down to the angrier he gets, the stronger he gets. That's an element that they totally don't do in the movies anymore, because I love that one, the original one, where he's just like he got like bigger too, the angrier he got. And it's so like, that'll be a nice transition to Top Gun, but like Jennifer Connelly in the Hulk, stunning when she's walking down those stairs and she's crying and the hair's blowing. That is like pitch perfect. Like, oh my god, that is fucking Betty. That is Betty Ross. And like she's walking down and he slowly becomes small and then like they hug, and that's that perfect line too where he's like, I thought I lost you or whatever. I thought, I wasn't going to come back, and I was just like, oh, it's so beautiful. And like she plays it straight. It's no goofball line like God bless you, or some stupid shit like in Jurassic Park or whatever. It is like straight up, she is holding him and crying, and like that is her friend, that is her, love of her life, basically. And he almost was gone, and it's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
Fuck, Luke, I gotta watch Hulk tonight. Oh my god, there's so much Hulk love. Like, you're safe, Luke. You need to rewatch Hulk.
No, I love that. I did. It's
Yes.
wonderful.
Nobody was good. Check out Nobody, Luke, and you in the audience, you at home. Check it out. Although, I don't know if everyone's TV is like this, but please, I would recommend watching the Blu-ray or 4K or DVD, because I tried to stream it through Vudu and it looked all, bad, 60 frames per second, and it looked fake, and I didn't like that.
No.
And I had to get up and get my Blu-ray and throw it in the player so it looked right. I had to slap it in the head and say, look right.
So the streaming service you were using, it was like motion, whatever it was, smoothing or whatever.
Oh, Luke, I'm like, okay. So before we get to Top Gun, let me talk about my TV. So I got this brand new, spanking new TV, and it's like one of those, the Sony one. And the reason why I got it is because it's one of those ones where it's like, to get the ultimate black on the screen, it'll actually turn off those LED lights for the ultimate black.
Oh, okay.
So I love it. But there's so many stupid features on it. There's so many stupid features, like the motion thing. They have like a motion thing to make everything look like, wishy-washy. And I had to turn that off because like the first movie I put in was Blazing Saddles. And it was doing that stupid wishy-washy thing. I'm like, no. So I turned that off.
Yeah.
And then a few days later, I'm watching Scream 3 specifically, Scream 3. So at the end, they're in like the dark, like Hollywood room where they were doing like orgies and shit. So they're fighting each other. Like Ghostface is fighting Nev Campbell, and it's quick cuts because it's a fight scene. So it's quick cuts. And the scene kept going bright, dark, bright, dark, bright, dark, bright, dark. I was like,
oh, I hate that.
Oh, fuck. What is this? What is this? What is this? It needs to stop. So I like literally got the remote and was like, what is this? And I went through every goddamn setting, and it's like some stupid thing for eyes, like for oversensitive eyes. You could like, you dim the scene and it'll go automatically to this, like the light of the scene. So I turned that shit off. The screen went bright and I was like, oh my God. So it's been like basically someone watching the movie with like sunglasses and going like this the whole time. And I was just like, oh my God, who created that? What dummy, what sensitive person was like, you know what? I want every cut of the movie to go dim and then bright and then dim and then bright. Who, like, it's somebody who doesn't watch movies. It's got to be video game shit or something. Maybe sports. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's terrible.
Yeah. It drives me nuts when that shit happens. Drives me nuts. Luckily, I don't get that too often, but there have been, because we have a projector, and the projector doesn't do that, which is nice. But
that's
there
awesome.
There have been times in the past where like I've been watching something on like Netflix and stuff, and it does that. I'm like, but it's like literally the problem of whatever version they have uploaded on Netflix. I'm like, oh my God.
But yeah, so I'm looking around, making sure there's nothing else I could like talk about before we dip into Top Gun. So let's get into Top Gun. So Luke, I know you've probably talked about this like 10, 20 times, but when did you start? No, wait, let's start from the beginning. Let's start from scratch. What was your first Tom Cruise movie ever? And then we'll go from there.
Oh, I think the one that I remember at least was Mission Impossible. I remember that one the most, but that doesn't mean that when I was a kid I didn't maybe by accident or being around other people possibly have seen another one. But I remember it was around, I want to say it was in the late 90s. I want to say it was like 1998, right? I was in the movie store. Can't remember what the movie store was called, like Sam something or whatever.
Sam Goody?
Sam Goody. I think it was Sam Goody. And we were looking at movies, and I saw Mission Impossible because I was really big into James Bond at that time. And then I was like, "What's this? Mission Impossible?" My mom was like, "Oh, it's based off an old TV show from the da 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 da." And I was like, "Well," so I'd never seen it, and I was like, "Well, can we get it?" And they looked at it, and like, "Oh yeah, sure, fine, we'll get it." So we got it, went home, watched it, and like, that started my love for Mission Impossible, but also my love of watching Tom Cruise movies, because I was like, I knew who he was then, And then I was like, all right, here we go. So Mission Impossible 1 is the one that like I vividly remember. This is the thing that kicked me off with
Nice.
Tom Cruise.
Nice. Hopefully I can keep it brief. But as a kid, my mom was not huge into Tom Cruise because her theory was that he never changed. He was always Tom Cruise, which is true to a certain extent. Just true to a certain extent. It's a valid complaint about him. But so I never saw Tom Cruise movies until I did rent, Mission Impossible, of course. I did see that. But other than that, like I really didn't see his movies, like none of them. It wasn't until 2004 with Collateral where I was like, I want to see that movie. I want to see it. I need to see it. I don't know what the trailer speaks to me. I need to see that movie. The poster with him in the gray suit with the gun and it just says Collateral. I need to see this movie. So I went to see Collateral, and it was like a baptism. It was like, this is what movies can be. It was so weird. I don't know. Like, I don't know. There's something special about Collateral. Just like watching the movie, like, wow, like it lived up, like it went beyond expectations. Like I expected a good movie, but it went beyond. And that's what got me onto Tom Cruise, because it was after that, it was Mission Impossible 3. And then it was, War of the Worlds, Valkyrie, all that shit. I was a Tom Cruise defender in high school because I remember I was such a Tom Cruise fan. So in high school, we had to make like paper mache, like sports people. So like you're supposed to do like a baseball player or someone playing soccer. So what I did, and I got away with it because I'm like, well, he's being active. I literally made like a chicken wire, like paper mache Tom Cruise jumping on the couch. I was a super fan, and of course I didn't keep it after, like, you don't keep that kind of garbage around. But I made the Tom Cruise like jumping on the couch out of like the paper mache and the thing. I was like, I'm a Cruise fan. He's awesome. Because like Mission Impossible 3, I know like over time it seems so quaint and like, oof, it's like the weaker of the series, but I was still loved it at the time because it kind of it was like the revive, like it still showed like it had a heartbeat. So like Mission Impossible, great movie. Mission Impossible 2, people were lukewarm on it. Like, what is this? It's
terrible.
James Bond.
Yeah.
And then the third one, it's like, oh, they're making a third one, but it went beep, beep, like a heartbeat, still alive.
Yes.
And then like freaking Brad Bird was like clear, poof, and Ghost Protocol is like awesome. And then they're like, hang on, we got more. And they got Rogue Nation, and then Fallout, which is probably like one of the best action movies of all time until Top Gun Maverick came out.
Yes.
So let's talk about Top Gun Maverick. Luke, what were your expectations about this movie before it came out?
I think I had my expectations were sort of mixed because I don't really love the first Top Gun movie. I think the first Top Gun movie is just okay. It's just okay. It's got good music. It's got a few iconic moments, but in general, it doesn't have much of a story, and it's just okay. It's just okay. But my excitement for it was really rooted in seeing what Tom Cruise had done with Mission Impossible movies, the last few, and I'm like, I'm not going to count The Mummy against him. That's not his fault.
No. Water on the bridge.
Yeah. So, but I was like, this guy puts his all into like these kinds of things. Like, so I'm like, it looked exciting. Maverick looked exciting. And I was like, at first I kind of rolled my eyes when I very first saw the trailer. I was like, oh my God, the Top Gun 2. We're really going here? We're really going here? Okay. But it slowly won me over. I was like the marketing. I was like, I'm interested. I need to go see this movie. Let's go see this movie. And then double feature, Top Gun one day. Next day, went and saw Maverick.
Yes.
Haven't been able to stop talking about it since. I was on my like Spotify end of year wrap up. The Top Gun theme was, maybe if I listened to it like maybe 15 more times, would have been in my top like 3 tracks of the year. easily.
Yeah.
Loved it.
It's so good. Like I personally was not like Top Gun, the original one, is not that huge on my radar. So when I, because like when I did my projects, I went back to watch other Tom Cruise movies.
Yeah.
Minority Report, Vanilla Sky.
Yeah.
I've probably seen Vanilla Sky a little bit earlier, but still, Eyes
Yeah.
Wide Shut, all those movies. Didn't really go too far back into like the 80s because like I watched like Cocktail and I was like, I don't like this. Color of Money is awesome.
Right.
I love Color of Money, but it's like that young Tom Cruise where he's still trying to hone his skills.
Yeah.
He's still like wobbling, you know, like sort of like a newborn. He's still trying to figure out his niche.
Yeah.
And Top Gun, the original one, I agree. It's basically like a feature-length music video, and like Batman Begins, Tony Scott, his main job was to make everything sexy. We're making the jets taking off sexy. We're making the motorcycle sexy. We're making the actress, I forgot her name. We're making her sexy as hell. Yes. And we're like, we have all these pilots here. They're all buff. They don't have to be buff. All they're doing is jet fighting, but they're all buff. And then we have freaking Val Kilmer, who's being responsible, and he's in this movie. He looks great. He's got the teeth. He's got the hair. Yes. He's awesome. You got Tom Cruise. He's the lead. And like, it's like the main focus of that movie is just to look good.
Yes.
Like, I don't even think there's hardly a story there. It's just look good and look great. Yeah. And there's like a little thing where he's like, oh, his friend died. He has to get back his mojo and like, you know, save the day. Yeah. Not much there. So with Maverick, I knew I was hyped because basically I'm like, oh shit. Because I'm thinking about my mashup brain. So I'm thinking, oh, we're finally getting the Hal Jordan movie. It's not exactly Hal Jordan, but we're getting it. We're getting old Tom Cruise and the fighter jets. Yeah. And then like I was a little worried because I'm a huge Tony Scott fan. I love Tony Scott movies. So when they're dipping their toe back into Tony Scott's world, I'm like, okay, you better pay a lot of respect to this thing because it's so tragic how Tony Scott died. Like how that happened, and like he literally like had like a movie every year, and I loved all of them. Taking Pelham, Unstoppable, Man on Fire, Deja Vu. Loved his work.
Yeah. Deja Vu is
awesome. Yeah, Deja Vu is awesome. Like that holds up. Okay, let's not go into Deja Vu. Yeah. Deja Vu is great. We'll put a pin in it. We'll go back to it. And not only that, but the director of Top Gun, the new one, was the guy who did Tron Legacy. So I'm like, okay, we got Tron Legacy. We got Tom Cruise at the age where he's like, we're going to do it for real. And it's by Skydance. So that's his company where he's basically putting his own money into it. He's like, and if he's going to put his own money into it, he knows he's not going to fuck up. Like, because everyone says, oh, the Mummy sucked. The Mummy sucked. Like, to me, the Mummy is not his fault. The Mummy is for him to be the Robert Downey Jr. of that franchise. It was like he was doing it as a favor. Like, I'll do this for you because you want to start a universe almost,
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah. All he was doing is just putting his name on there just to help start the series, and then he would do his own thing. I think that's all that was. It was a favor. It was like, hey, let me help you start this thing. Yeah. And it didn't take off. So he's like, all right, fuck you. I'm gonna do all my awesome movies: Fallout, Rogue Nation, Maverick. And it I never thought Maverick was going to come out because it came out the weird time because like next year, 2020, Maverick, and then the world stopped.
Yes.
And then like poor Christopher Nolan's like, I'm going to save cinema with my movie Tenet. I'm going to save it. Did nothing. And then 2021 comes along. Still no Top Gun, where Tom Cruise is like, nah. We're going to push it. We're going to wait until people can go into the cinemas and watch it.
Yes.
So finally, 2022 official release date. And it's been like 2 years of watching that damn trailer of him taking off the thing. And then 2 years since they released all the toys for Top Gun and all the merchandise, because it all came out in 2020.
The toys?
Okay, hold on, podcast. Let's show Luke what I'm talking about. Hang on. So at Walmart, they have an exclusive toy line called Leonard Toys or something like that. They do like licenses. They have a license for like Rampage, Alien, what else? Some other movies, Predator, Jumanji, things like that, where it's like B-side movies. And they actually got the license for Top Gun. So at the time, I was like, oh, I want to get some Top Gun representation for my collection. So this has been sitting in my storage room. But Here it is. They made this, and it was released in 2020. Hang on.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's like a little cheap toy line. This is probably like 15, 20 bucks or whatever.
Yeah.
Hang on. Oh, it's like, I guess it doesn't make it a cool sound. But anyway, this was the toy line they did. And this one came out in 2020. So I've been carrying around this for 2 years. And it finally came out, Luke. And the best thing about this, because I asked you about this. I think I asked people on Twitter and no one knew about this. It was only me, or whoever goes to Regal Cinema. But before Top Gun opens, you see old man Tom Cruise in the middle of, because he's doing his press tour or whatever he was doing this. He looked so old and frail, and he didn't have makeup on, and his hair was messed. Like he just got to this wherever this promotion was, and he was like, "Thank you for coming to the cinema. We worked really hard on this. We have 5Gs. We did this, and we held off, and we wanted to make sure that you guys can experience this in the theater. I love movies. I love making movies." Something like this along the lines. It's like 2-3 minutes. And he introduces the movie to you, and he says, like, enjoy the movie. And then the movie starts, and it's fucking, like, it's like Top Gun, like shot, like the cool wires going.
Yeah.
And then like he's on the motorcycle, Luke. It's so good. Like, and then I think I mentioned on Twitter, but I don't know if people really fully understood me. But the thing I really love about the opening scene of Top Gun is that he does like a Michael Scott thing, where he's like, "Well, they're not here yet." And then he kind of looks at them, and it's so like Michael Scott, like, you know, like, that's what she said. Like, kind of like, look, you know, that camera thing. I was like, oh my God. And it's so wonderful because, like, it's like a room full of nerds, dorks. They all have like glasses on, and they're like, oh, they're shutting down our program. And this cool jock's in there, and he's like, not if I have anything to say about it. No. And he gets in the jet, and it goes, and then it's freaking Ed Harris. Oh my God. And that's so cool because it's sort of like a reference to The Right Stuff. And sort of like living off the history of like Ed Harris's career of like the Army general, like The Rock and all that. That's all in my head. And he's like, your end of the career, you know, Maverick. So good. Yeah. So good. And then like what happened, like the movie was so good. Like so good, Luke. I'll let you talk because like if I keep talking, I'm just gonna go through the whole movie. But like, what are your thoughts? So when you watch the movie, like,
well, I remember when we went to the cinema, my excitement, like, oh, I can hear myself now. Now I can't. Okay, that's fine. Went into the cinema and they had this. We typically, I'm not gonna say what cinema we go to. We go to one in central London, but they had like a jerry-rigged sound system in there. They didn't. I was confused because we had purchased tickets to sit on the back row, and then when we got there, they were like, "Oh, sorry, the back row has been booked out. It was a mistake." I was like, "Okay, fine." So they put us like a couple of rows, for, ahead of that, and we went in. And the reason it was booked out was because they had like literally the soundboard was in the back row, and then all these cords. And all these new speakers, like this was a brand new experience. That had me hyped already, right? I'd never been to the cinema with a jerry-rigged sound system, but it's one of like it's a really nice cinema in Central. So I was like, this is like, what is Tom Cruise doing? like there was, I'm not gonna lie, there was a small part of me is like, oh my God, is Tom Cruise here? Like, is he gonna come out and say something? But yeah, he wasn't.
I could see him doing that. He's like kind of weird, like almost like Bill Murray of like actors, where he would show up at places and be that like, hey, I'm Tom Cruise.
And also, it is a cinema where actors come and do talks every once in a while. Ooh, so yeah. I was kind of like maybe, but obviously no. We didn't have an intro. There was no intro with ours, which was fine. But having just seen Top Gun the day before, and then seeing the updated version of that intro. With the danger zone and the Top Gun bell and all that, you know what I mean? Like all that. It just from the very beginning, I was just like, I knew within the first like second, I was like, I'm in. And it's, like, okay, you know how like Into Darkness, Star Trek Into Darkness just is full on nonstop for 2 hours. But if you stop and think about it, it's fucking dumb. But Top Gun Maverick, it's just like it hits the gas and goes, but it's great. Like you stop and think about it, and it still makes sense. And I'm like, oh god, I love it. Like everything from that opening bit to the star the Dark Star test run was just wonderful. I love that bit, and I also love the fact that we're catching up with Maverick 30 some odd years later, and like he's not a rock star. He's really low down. He's just
Yes.
doing his thing over here on this base, and he's not like I said, he's not a rock star. I'm like, I love that. I love that he's like, they don't want him here. I'm like, I like that
Yes.
because he was so arrogant in the first one. The first one's interesting. One of the most interesting things about the first one, I think, is that Tom Cruise's character is almost could almost
Unlikable.
be seen as the villain.
Yeah.
Because he's arrogant. He doesn't really think about Goose. He's a jackass to Iceman, who is the good guy.
Yeah.
You know,
It's almost like the movie you're following Hangman.
yes,
It's weird.
yes, and that was a thing that I like. You mentioned that, which just sparked back my mind. I love the fact that actually Hangman really was more of the Tom Cruise character in this, and I feel like if there's anything that Top Gun Maverick could have done better, it could have been like maybe one scene between those two, and I don't know how how explicit it should be or should have been, but I think something that could have been like, dude, I've been in your shoes. You need to take a step back.
Mhm.
Just a little something would have been nice because I found it interesting that Hangman was definitely sort of a Maverick type person. Like he was Maverick, and I kept realizing that during the movie. But I loved that. But at the same time, I also kind of appreciate that the film didn't spell stuff out and didn't go on full on. I was once like you. So I'm kind of torn on that. I'm kind of torn.
Yeah.
I'm like, one scene, one line could have been interesting, but at the same time, the restraint to not do that was good. But
yes,
I so sold on that movie, and also the fact that
so good.
The fact that the fact that Maverick doesn't ever tell what's Goose's kid's name? God damn it,
Rooster.
Rooster. Yes, the fact that he doesn't ever tell Rooster what his mom asked of him. Right.
That's so good.
It's like I kept waiting for the moment for him to be like, I did this for your mom. I kept waiting for that moment. Tom Cruise overacting moment, shouting, doing his big Tom Cruise moment. And they didn't do it. I'm like, he's continuing to carry that weight. And I like that. And they've mended their relationship to some degree.
Yep. Without having to say why he did it.
Yes.
So good, Luke. It's so flipping good. Like, oh man, what was I just thinking of? I was just thinking about something about Maverick. What the? Oh, to circle back to what you were saying before I go on my tangent. What you said about Hangman, about their little moment. Like, I agree with you, and something tells me it probably was in the script, because Hangman sort of has a different attitude when he's waiting in that jet and he wants to go out there and save them, because he has a sort of a different attitude at that point. He's not selfish. He wants to help. And it's not that kind of like, oh, I should be there. It's like, no, let me help them.
Yes.
And something tells me, because like the way it's edited, like the way the flow, the story goes, I feel like the scene was probably right after he says, okay, I'm going to take Goose. I'm the leader. I'm this guy. We're going. And then there probably was a scene instantly after that where Hangman says, hey man, why didn't you pick me? Blah, blah, blah. He says, listen, the reason why I didn't do that, because I am you and you are me, and you're not ready for this. You are selfish, because I know this because I was selfish.
Yeah.
And you need to get over that, or you need to grow out of it. Yeah. I'm sure that scene was there because it's Tom Cruise. I'm sure Tom Cruise probably wrote the script and Like, he's big on storytelling. I know that
He is,
fucking guy.
he
Like
is.
you watch all his movies, like whenever he's producing it or has a hand in it,
Yeah.
there's definitely like his fingerprints are on it. So I'm guessing 100% that was probably in a script or an earlier version, and it got lost in editing just because of how smooth the editing is. Because it's cross cutting between him on like the deck, and he's in the classroom and explaining who he's picking, and then it has that black guy who's like, you're right where you're supposed to be. You're Maverick, you know. And then that thing goes up and he gets on the jet, and then he says like, okay, Rooster, no, wait until we get back. It's smooth sailing. So I understand what you're saying. I agree. That scene probably was there, but probably during editing, they're like, no, it's so smooth.
Yeah, probably.
And if you're looking for things to cut down on, that's probably like an easy cut because they're like, we can. Hangman comes back at the end, and that's okay. He pulls a Han Solo. That's all right. We can do that.
Yeah.
So I think that's my theory. And my tangent I want to go on for Top Gun is the thing I love about the movie is that it keeps switching while building up not the suspense, but the stakes of the story. Like it tells you that this mission is impossible. No pun intended. But this mission is impossible. There's no way you can get through it. And it shows like all the things that can go wrong.
Yes.
Like the people do pass out. And they do miss the target. And it shows like it can't be done. And it's so good. And then like the minute where they start losing faith in Maverick is the moment where he gets on that test track and does it himself. Like it could be done. And it's so fucking good because like he even like changes the clock like ding and it does and he goes through the whole thing and it's so good.
Yes.
It's so freaking ridiculous because they had lost faith in him and then he regains their faith by doing it. And there's like no extra fat in this movie. There is like character building with him and the girl.
Yes.
And there's like some world building as well, establishing that they've done this before because the little girl is like, don't break her heart this time.
Yes.
And like you feel that moment. Like they don't even have to over explain it. Like this is not the first time that she's seen Maverick jump out the window. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This has happened before.
That scene
and
that was good to you.
It's so good, Luke. So I think I've said this on one of our streams. It's probably Instagram exclusive stream, but it was I thought Tom Cruise was going to die. I legitimately thought like, holy shit, they're going to kill Tom Cruise.
Yep.
Because like you really believe it because I remember in the trailer there's like a shot where Jennifer Connelly like looks at the jet like this, and they did not play that during Iceman's funeral. So when he gets shot down, I'm like, holy shit, they killed Maverick. They killed Maverick.
Yes.
And that's another element of how the movie keeps changing and shifting.
Yes.
Like then after that, it pivots. It's no longer the mission. It's how you get back.
Yes.
Because it's going to be a dogfight all the way home.
Yes.
So Rooster gets crashed on the ground. They're together. They squeeze in the Tom Cruise run.
They do.
Because Tom, perfect. And then they go on that runway, and it's the old jet Tom Cruise used to fly, and it's perfect. And Rooster has to do what his dad did. Oh my God! Yes. Before I get too far, I forget it. That line is so perfect because in the movie, Rooster is going slow, right? And he's like, "Talk to me, Dad." And then it cuts to Tom Cruise saying, "Don't think, just do it." And then it cuts to Rooster and he like hits the thing and he goes faster than he should even be going. And I was like, oh my God, Tom Cruise is the father figure. It's so good.
Oh my God.
So good. Oh my God. Like, Luke, that movie is fucking good. It's perfect.
Terrific.
And like, terrific. And it's almost like, dude, I've seen some people on Twitter who are like, yeah, it's okay. It's just a movie. And I see what they're going for because movies used to be like this all the time. There was a time in the 90s and the 80s and the 70s where a movie would just grab you and take you on a journey like this. It had characters, it had actors, it had sets, it had moving things that made you love the movie. Back to the Future, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Dirty Harry, all those things.
Yeah.
They grabbed you.
At least one or two really great, good hits, memorable hits per year.
Yes, exactly.
30,
and it
years.
grabbed you. It made you remember even the forgettable ones because there's some cult classics that become cult classics, like Big Trouble in Little China, Drop Dead Fred, The Thing. like it has like a Poltergeist, like some other things, Napoleon Dynamite, like the Big Lebowski. There's like all these movies that have characters, filmmaking, story elements, and those are like gone because a lot of the movies nowadays are just like cookie cutter or like
Or Marvel.
yeah, cookie cutter. It's all like a assembly line. Like we have the previs, we know what's going to happen here, and it's like almost jarring between the action and the movie. A huge example would be that Black Widow movie,
Oh, I never saw that. I couldn't bring this
and you
up.
could tell the difference between the real filmmaker and the previs.
Yeah.
Because like you have this whole huge action sequence where she pulls like a Batman Begins where Natasha falls from the roof of the place and like hits everything on the way down, and when she gets up it's like because like the director had no idea of what the action scene was going to be, so they thought, oh, she just fell a couple stories. Meanwhile, she fell from the roof and hits everything on the way down, and then gets up. It's like, nothing happened, and it's just like, oh, and that's jarring. It's jarring. It's terrible, and it's just, I don't know. It makes me appreciate Maverick more because the team behind it,
because they're really in those
material.
effing planes.
That's the other thing too. That really makes a huge difference. I noticed because I was watching it my Blu-ray, and just seeing the lighting when they're inside the jet and it's changing with the direction they're facing, and you see that horizon line moving, and it adds so much to it. It's not just a generic blank background because like they would like animators probably have to guess like, okay, it's going to be blurry, so we could just have like gray blur. Meanwhile, it's kind of in focus. You could actually see the details behind them because they were filming in real locations. So you see the real trees, you see the mountains, you see the water, you see details. And it just added so much to it. It added to the stakes. It added to the danger because you're like, okay, they're in these jets. I can feel it. They can feel it. And like you could see like when they like, it's not acting like Toonces, and they're driving cars. People always drive cars like this in movies. Like in that movie, it's like you could see like the pressure that's being pushed on them when they go faster. It's so good. It adds to the movie. Okay. Is anyone talking?
It makes me miss like practical effects, practical stunts. Whereas I'm so bored with the CGI nonsense, which is actually kind of, to take it back to Batman for a second. I think that might be another reason why I liked the Batman so much, is because there wasn't just big, gross CGI fighting. There was a lot of practical fighting stuff. That's probably another reason why I enjoyed, what added to my level of enjoyment with the Batman. Probably.
Yes. To add to that, during my latest rewatch of the Batman, the fight scene at the end with all the Riddlers felt like such a reward after watching 40 minutes of bullshit dialogue. It felt like a reward, like, yes, action scene.
Finally.
It felt like a... Oh my God, look, before we get too far and forget about this, Maverick, you know what the difference between Maverick is and like every other action movie that's come out in the last 10 years? When you find out Maverick is still alive, it's not like, oh shit, there's more movie left. It's like, oh my God, there's more movie left. How are they going to get out of this? And that was such a relief. I remember feeling that feeling in the theater, like, oh my God, the movie's almost over. And then when the camera comes back up and you see him in the snow and he opens his eyes, I'm like, oh, yes, there's more movie left. Oh my God, it's so awesome. And the helicopter's there. And then Rooster comes in and Rooster crashes and Tom Cruise is running. Awesome, Luke.
There's a thing in storytelling. You probably know this, but audience might not know this. But there's a thing in storytelling that's called, you need to always be switching from the positive to the negative, right? And you have the negative. You have that moment. Tom Cruise is down. You think he's dead. Positive. Oh, he's alive. The negative, you have that plane, the enemy plane, and he has to go run, right? Then you get that negative. Then you get the positive, and you got Rooster coming in and saving him. And then Rooster crashes. You're negative. Like Tom Cruise is, if you go and look at his films, he is terrific about sticking to that formula, because the swapping from the positive to the negative helps keep the stakes going. right?
Yeah.
And that's what this movie just from the just from the very beginning just continues to do that. Positive.
From the very beginning, because it's all about them saving the space program in the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. Negative. These people want to shut down the space program. I'm going to do it anyway. Positive. All right. Almost loses his job. Doesn't. Then has to go try. Just nails that shit. Nails it so well.
Man, he's so. And a similar scene to that, like the one that really stands out to me from Fallout.
Mm.
Whenever I think of Fallout, I think of that scene because it perfectly explains who Ethan Hunt is and what those movies are, and it's high stakes and there's multiple things going on, and you have to think about what you're going to do in order to about the next situation and how you're going to get out of it, because that's what Ethan Hunt is. It's how do you get out of the situation you're in? The scene I'm talking about specifically, I think I mentioned it on an old show we did, but I'm going to talk about it again because I fucking love the scene. So the scene is they just stole the guy from the truck, the jailbreak. So his truck flipped over. They're getting him out there. I think they just got out of the sewer. They're in the garage, their little getaway car. The garage is opening, and there's a fucking police officer there, and they clearly are up to shady shit. Yeah. And Tom Cruise has to de-escalate the situation because he knows he can't let that guy go, the terrorist go. He can't let the guy who talks like this. He can't let him go.
Yes.
He does not trust Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill is getting ready to shoot to get out of that situation, and he doesn't trust him because Henry Cavill is a passenger. He's not even supposed to be there. He's just there to be watching them, and Tom Cruise has to hang on. We got to get out of this police officer situation. And then the stakes go up higher.
Yes.
The freaking guys that are chasing them that they double-crossed in order to steal that guy come there, and he has to shoot them. And not only that, but he does it Wild Wild West style. He's he kills them, and they accidentally shoot the police officer, and everyone gets in the car, and he goes to the police officer, and he tells her to hold it, and he looks in her eyes you hold it here, here, radio in for help, and he holds on the button, and she talks. He says, all right. And then he makes sure she's okay. And then he drives off. And I was just oh, my God, that is so Ethan Hunt. He's so amazing.
What's so interesting about Ethan Hunt and Mission Impossible is this might be the only massively successful franchise in which the original series protagonist is no longer around. Because in the movie... in the show, it's Mr. Phelps.
Yeah.
And then the original show is Mr. Phelps. He is the prime guy. Obviously, they bring John Voight in the movie to be the new Mr. Phelps, but they turn him into a bad guy in the end.
Yeah.
Which is kind of lame. I don't really like that. But what I do, my headcanon tells me that Mission Impossible with Ethan Hunt is a different universe to the TV show Mission Impossible.
Yes.
I don't think that I don't see them as the same thing. And I'm fine with that. But
that's funny.
But then you think of what you think of the Bourne Legacy, all these attempts to bring in other characters to carry on the franchise without the series protagonist, and it just doesn't work. But he made it work.
He made it work.
He did.
They even tried to do that to him because I think that's what Ghost Protocol was supposed to be. That was supposed to be can Tom Cruise still do this, or should we hand it to Jeremy Renner?
Yes.
Jeremy Renner again.
Yes. I thought that the same thing. I thought, oh, okay, fucked up with Jason Bourne, so he's gonna do with Mission Impossible now. I'm glad that they didn't do that. I'm also bummed that in Ghost Protocol they have that lady spy who was.
Yeah, she's from Deja Vu. I forgot her name.
I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find Ghost Protocol. Google has heard me talking.
Oh, Patton. Paula Patton is something Patton.
Paula Patton. Yeah. Oh gosh, she was gorgeous. Yeah. No, they. It was ridiculous that they never brought her back. Why did they not bring her back?
I don't know why. And I like how Simon Pegg, who was not part of the original crew, is now part of the crew, and it feels so natural. It doesn't feel shoehorned in, and it feels like you can't make a movie without him now. He is as important as Ving Rhames, Tom Cruise. He is the part of the Trinity. He's the part of the team.
Yes.
And the thing I'm kind of sad about is that Alec Baldwin died because he was such a great addition to the series, and just that little Hunt. So good. And it's sort of connected to Alec Baldwin's early roots when he was Jack Ryan.
Yes,
I like that
true.
part.
True.
Yeah. What are you? Oh, hang on. All right, let's go on a tangent.
Okay.
Do you love Hunt for Red October? Have you seen it? And is it great?
We watched it. When did I watch it last? I watched it within the last 12 months. I want to say that I think we watched it last Christmas.
Ooh, it's a Christmas movie.
We
It's
didn't watch
definitely
it
a
because
Christmas
of
movie.
Christmas. We watched it because my fiance's parents are very picky about what they watch, and half the time her dad walks out of the room whenever we pick something. He's like, I don't want to watch this, and he'll go and read or something like that. Because that was it. Because we tried one night, we tried to watch. Speaking of Nolan and magic movies, we tried to watch The Illusionist, and he was like, literally within the first moment of that like plant scene where the plant, whether he's pretending to make the plant grow at the very beginning, before the plant was barely sprouting out, he's like, nope, I'm done. And he walked out of the room. But yeah, we watched, I think it was last Christmas we watched Hunt for Red October, because I was in the middle of watching the other Jack Ryan movies with Harrison Ford, and I was like, oh my God, these are great. And so yeah, we wanted to watch that one. And no, I loved it. I was thoroughly hooked on Hunt for Red October. It's a good one in my opinion. Definitely.
Awesome. Yeah, I love Hunt for October. It's one of those movies where I wish it got a sequel because I liked Alec Baldwin as Jack Ryan. I felt like that was like the perfect age for that character or in that movie or in that franchise.
Yeah.
Because when I finally figured out, I'm like, oh, that's supposed to be the same character in Harrison Ford. Because as a kid, I was a Hunt for October kid. And whenever I saw like Clear and Present Danger or what the hell's the other one? Patriot Games. I'm like, yeah, just Harrison Ford, Okay. So when I found out, like, oh, it's supposed to be the same character, so I watched those movies, and it felt like that magic was missing. I think I understand it was like probably a reboot because, it's sort of like that James Bond thing where they hired a new actor,
Yes.
Where they just did that and did like a different version, and I was never really a huge fan of the Harrison Ford one. Not really.
Either one.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it was his fault or just how the movies were. I don't know.
Which one did you watch?
Both of them. Both of them. I don't like Patriot Games, and I don't like Clear and Present Danger. Patriot Games I thought was too generic because it's like oh, you killed my brother, I gotta kill you, and then Clear and Present Danger. It feels like it's been a while since I've watched it. Granted, I'll admit that, but it felt too booky. It felt like you're jumping here and over here, and it's
okay.
I'm not that invested into the characters or the situation because it keeps jumping from everything.
Yeah.
Has been a while since I've seen it, but I wasn't a huge fan of Harrison Ford as Jack Ryan.
Yeah.
All your conclusions were wrong.
I like him. I gotta admit, I think I like him more than Jim from The Office.
Oh, I don't even count the new Jack Ryan as like canon anymore. Like whenever I see that like Jim from The Office or Chris Pine, I'm like, you're struggling. You don't know what you're doing with that franchise. You just have a name and you're just trying to make content.
Yeah.
That's my cynical mind when I see that. Like I don't see any love. I see you trying to make content.
Yeah. I've never seen
especially the Chris Pine movie.
Never seen it.
Yeah.
Never
seen it either. Chris Pine, I feel so sorry for. He's like a Zoe Saldana situation where I feel like his manager is just trying to attach him to like a franchise for him to get easy money when he needs to be thriving doing good movies.
Yes. Like Hell or
High Water is an excellent movie.
We just said
all around perfect. Have you seen Hell or High Water?
Yeah. We literally said Hell and High Water at the same time. We jinxed it.
Jinx, double jinx. Our mental synchronization can have one explanation. Oh, speaking of that, hang on. Since I said that, do it for the audience because the audience can laugh. Whoever 3 people in the audience. Our mental synchronization can have one explanation. Olaf.
Fucking Frozen.
From Frozen. Frozen. So where were we? Oh yeah, we're talking about Hell or High Water. Perfect movie. Perfect. excellent.
Also
all
with
around.
Angel from X-Men, who is another actor. I'm like, he should be in more things.
Ben Foster. I think Ben
Ben-
Foster's had a great career.
Yeah.
Because he's been everywhere. Like he's been in like a Punisher movie. He was in 30 Days a Night. He was in 310 to Yuma. He was an X-Men. He was in Hell or High Water.
Yeah.
There's some other movies he did too. I'm trying to think. But he's had a good run.
Yeah, I just think like I just there's a part of me. It's like I want to go live in the timeline where comic book movies didn't take over, because I want to see like these guys doing like these original their original things. Like I think about like that's what I think when people are so nostalgic for the 80s and the 90s and stuff is that people are like, we don't have a new Die Hard. Like if you think about the 80s, you had Terminator, Predator, Die Hards, Lethal Weapons, all this shit coming out, all this new stuff, adding to like storytelling and film and cinema legacy.
Mhm.
And now it's just like, and you had, so therefore you had people like, you know, like Mel Gibson and Arnold Schwarzenegger doing all these different roles, embodying different characters, and you see the characters, you don't see the actor, even though you sometimes do, but like you get my point. And like nowadays, we don't get any of that. It's just like it's that's so limited when we get stuff like that, and it frustrates the shit out of me.
I wish if they're going to redo movies, I feel like they should steal smartly.
Yes.
You know, to fully explain my thought, because I think I talked about it last night, but I'm going to talk about it again because I loved it. So my friend Stuart bought me a copy of the movie Road Games. It came out in like 1980, 1981.
Okay.
It has Stacy Keach in it and Jamie Lee Curtis. And it takes place in Australia. And it's this trucker who like sees something happen and he's like, that guy got it the last hotel room before me, so I have to sleep in my truck. Why was he looking at the garbage that the dog was picking at? Why was he doing that? And then later on, he sees that same guy digging something up and he says, why was he digging that hole? What was going on with that? Why is that? And it is subtly a remake of Rear Window. Whole different situation. It's on the road. It's in Australia. He's a truck driver. You got Jamie Lee Curtis. You got like a weird guy who like it's like this one highway that everyone's taking because there's only one way to get to where they're going. So there's different people that they keep running into on this highway. So there's like a family that's on the run.
Yeah.
Another like that's in the vehicles. There's a family that's on the run, like a senator who's in the middle of like a controversial thing. So he's on the run. And then you have this motorcyclist that's just driving on the same route. They go to the same gas stations or whatever. Yeah. And then they also have like this couple that just got married. So they're all going on the same route and they all have to interact with each other on the same route. And meanwhile, there's this creepy guy in the green van. Is he the murderer that everyone's talking about? Is he not? Is Stacy Keach going crazy? Is Stacy Keach the murderer? It's so cool, but it's just a remake of Rear Window. And I wish more movies, like if you're going to take something from the past and do it, you should do that. Go ahead, do it, but make it your own and don't make it too obvious. Like with Batman, it's too obvious. You're doing 7. Too obvious. Yeah. You're clearly doing 7. It's like there's no hiding it. You're doing 7 and you're not revamping it. And I think I said this before, and spoilers for our future podcast. It's only our Chief Brody Rose. There's only 3 people here. But if I were to do a Star Wars movie, I would totally steal the plot from Casablanca. Take that whole Casablanca plot, put it in the Star Wars world. Instead of Nazis, you got stormtroopers. You got the nice little bar. Instead of Rick's bar, it's probably like what's that? McClunky bar or whatever, and it's got like little creatures there and whatnot. Add some action sequences that were not in Casablanca, update it a little bit. Still have some sort of song that connects them to it, and have like Lady Gaga do some sort of nice Star Wars theme song, and like really work it in there. And that could start like a franchise, you know, because at the end, Rick goes on the run with probably his buddy, one of the stormtroopers, you know, or one of the galactic officers who probably has some intel and it can help him along, and they could start a whole franchise. And then you could steal shit from like Star Wars or not Star Wars, shit from Die Hard or Speed, but put it in the Star Wars universe. And meanwhile, You stole
Yeah.
from Casablanca first. You did it the best, and then went on with it. I
Yeah.
wish movies could do that, or be like smart enough to do that.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to steal from the best, you might as well do it. You can go all the way, but just
Yeah.
put some Star Wars paint on it. Put some Marvel paint on it. Because right now, things are so bland and boring.
Oh God.
I don't mind if you're going to steal something, go ahead. And to me, you should check it out, Luke. Watch Rear Window and then watch Road Games like back to back. Both are really excellent. I know you've probably seen Rear Window. Everyone has. But
Oh, yeah,
Road Games is more of a cult classic movie. I've heard about that for years. Like when I was in high school, I seen it on so many cult classic lists. So I've been dying to see Road Games. So my friend Stuart, he just sent me it like 2 months ago. So I finally watched it. It's so good. Check out Road Games. Please add it to your list.
Yeah.
You have Nobody, Road Games, and what else did we talk about? You saw Hell or High Water.
Oh yeah.
You saw Hulk. Let's see. Okay. I never seen Frozen, so I didn't get the reference. God.
Don't see Frozen.
Me?
Just don't do it.
Frozen, it made like $2 billion.
Those sisters are terrible sisters. Like an abusive family. This is an abusive family, and they're being passed off as a fairy tale happy family. Like the parents are brainwashing their daughter to hide the fact that she has powers from their other daughter. Like it's some serious emotional abuse going on. Like, and then the second one, you find out that the mom has powers, and you're like, wow. So this poor sister, like the fact that the sister never has the one who has the powers never has to like deal with the consequences of her actions of hiding this identity from her younger sister this entire time, and that it's all just passed off as okay. Like what emotionally stunted individual wrote this movie?
Well, Luke, like the evil queen, man, like married the king, and then when the king died, she threw her in rags, but yet the beauty was still there, and she had to go in the woods with the 7 dwarves, and the dwarves were all gross and that, and then the queen has to go kill the daughter, which is messed up because the daughter is like the next queen, man. And then you got Tangled, man, where like she is kidnapped by this crazy woman to make her grow her hair super long, and is like mentally tortured, similar to the way where Quasimodo was tortured by Frollo in that castle. And then you got Cinderella, who came like the same situation. Mom married this rich guy died, and the daughter had to
hang on. I agree with all of those, but all the people doing the bad things get their comeuppance. Her family.
The parents died. The parents died in the ocean.
But the Elsa who's the frosty queen who has the ice power.
Frosty queen.
Like what? Nothing happens to her. She's one of the worst ones of them all. And then in the second movie, she's like tormented because she doesn't want to be queen. Like, grow up, you whiny son of a gun. Like
I like that. The first movie, it's all like set up where Elsa needs to be closer to her family, and then the second one's like, "No, you're good. You don't need to be close. You can run away into the woods and live by yourself. You're good. We tried it out for a year. It didn't quite work. I still love you, but you can go live in the woods."
Also, the second one had a boring song.
Wait, which one's a boring song?
In the second one, like the main song for the second one, that's like
oh, into the unknown. I haven't seen Frozen 2 since it came out, which was Thanksgiving weekend, which is wild to me because it's all about how they stuffed out the Native Americans and stole their land and stole their power and magic.
Right.
That is so. I remember sitting there like, oh my God, this is Thanksgiving weekend and you're releasing this. Oh my God. It just blew my mind. Is there any comments that we missed? Nope. Oh wait, we did get a comment here.
Did we?
Maybe we could discuss.
Oh,
I love
love
Into Darkness from Chief Brody Rules. So, Luke, I understand it's stupid. I understand it'll make sense, but I love Into Darkness. I love it.
I once had an Enterprise from JJ's reboot that size. You know what I did with it?
You sent it to me.
Dumped it in the bin.
You should have sent it to me.
Did I send it? No, I didn't send it to you. No,
I'm saying you should have sent it to me.
I should.
I would have given it a good home. I would have, raised it as my own, and I would never tell about its true parents, Luke, who threw it away in the bin. A monster. And it bells of Notre
Into Darkness,
Dame.
man. How can? What's there to like about it? It's not Star Trek. It's not Star Trek.
Oh, you're okay. So that's the thing. I'm not. To me, it's just like it's a children's show. There's bright colors.
Yes.
You have Kirk saying, "I save you, Kirk. You save me, Spock. I save you, Spock. You save me, Kirk." And they have Khan. Like he's just some guy. Khan. And then there's like that cool little switcheroo, like, "Oh my God, you're gonna blow up all these people." No, Jim, no, Kirk. I switched out the bodies. Of course, I'm not that cold. And then like it's just so silly fun. I like how like Simon Pegg is like a drunk, and then he has to sneak onto the RoboCop ship, and then there's that cool little sequence, even though they did in the first movie, where they have to jump from the ship to ship, and then he has to hit the button, and he makes the spaceship poop out the guy, and then they come flying in, and then the camera comes in, and it's like, we have to get going. And it's so fun. I don't have to think. There's blue, there's red, there's sound effects, and you got Sulu saying like cool badass shit, like I'm not joking. And then you have a little Bill Hader cameo because of course he went in the sound booth and said, "The doors are closing," or whatever, and it's so wonderful. And then Spock is punching the guy at the end. They can't beam them up, but they can beam somebody down. And then you got Zoe Saldana be like, "Stop it, he can save Kirk." And then they save Kirk with the triple blood. It's so fun and stupid. I love it. It's a good adventure movie, or I should say entertaining adventure movie to put on and to have fun.
Sure. It's just, I think my problem is like maybe if I had seen it without the Star Trek name, I would be slightly more okay with it. But because it has Star Trek's name on it, and I know, and I also know JJ and his inability to be original, then I'm like, you know what, bro? No. I
feel so sorry for JJ. I feel like everyone hyped him up and he thought he was special, and then the more he does, the more that is like you realize he's not that great.
No. The funniest joke is in South Park when they hired J.J. Abrams to rewrite the national anthem, to reboot the national anthem, and they're basically making fun of Star Wars, right? So
yeah,
the whole episode is about him doing that, and then when the national anthem is revealed, it's the exact same thing. Now nothing's changed. It's the exact
oh my God! Oh my God, that's perfect. Oh my Lord!
You know, The Force Awakens.
That is him.
Is A New Hope. Into Darkness is Wrath of Khan.
Super 8 is trying to be Spielberg, but completely missing what made those Spielberg movies work. Like completely missing the boat. Because I just rewatched Super 8 and like a bunch of Spielberg movies like back to back, and I'm like, you're completely missing the point of those movies you're trying to rip off.
Yeah.
Like there's too much of the dad, and that's automatically a mistake for if you're trying to do Spielberg. If you're doing Spielberg, parents can't be involved. Your point of view of the kids, and that's what you are for the whole movie. You'll learn everything from the point of the view of the kids. You never see, because I was thinking about E.T. Like you got the guy with the keys on his belt. You never see him until like at the end when he has to interact with Elliot and like explain what's going on. Speaking of Elliot, I do have an Elliot. That's vintage, man. That's originally 1982 toy. But yeah, like JJ completely missed the boat with that.
He really, I don't know if like what's the guy's name? Who was the dad? Oh yeah, that's it. Kyle Chandler. I always,
Kyle Chandler
I only know him
from the
from
TV show, right?
the early edition.
Yes, he'll forever be early edition. He'll never ever get out of that unless he becomes like some superhero, which I'm sure they can do at some point. I'm sure they'll be like, who else do we got in the actor barrel?
Dude, he's
Scraping the
57
bottom.
years old. He's not going to be a superhero.
They'll make him a superhero. Everyone becomes a superhero, Luke. At one point, me and you will be superheroes.
One day we can hope. But he always plays the same boring dad. Like he's the same boring dad in Godzilla.
Typecast.
Poor guy.
I do love him, like in King Kong. Like he's on the verge of being like a next Bruce Campbell in that movie. On the verge. Like if you were to put him in the Sam Raimi movie and made him silly like Bruce, I think he could do it.
Yeah.
Because there's like a lot of silly shit he does in King Kong. Or not a lot, but some.
Yeah.
Like he has a lot of scene stealing moments in Kong. Oh man, but he's never gotten that moment though. He's always angry dad.
Yes, always. Poor guy. But no, I remember always the early edition, watching that all the time when I was a kid. Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Nash Bridges, early edition. What else was it? Walker, Texas Ranger was huge.
Yep.
What an era. We had so much, Luke. We had it all.
We did. We had good shit. We had good shit. I don't want to sound like an old person who's like back in my day, because I also recognize that like when our parents were kids, they had good shit, right? But like there is this line, and I think it's in time, and it's somewhere around 2005 to 8, where like everything just stopped being good and classic, right?
Yeah.
Well, where are we going?
I'm trying to see if I could show my display because I want to know how much battery I have left. Oh, that's plenty of battery. I'm okay. Let's go for another 3 hours. We can do this.
What are you doing tomorrow?
I am off tomorrow. They actually announced that today at like 4 o'clock before I got out. Tomorrow was supposed to be a half day.
Yeah.
But I am out tomorrow. I'm free. I'm gone. I'm a dot.
There you go. There you go.
So I could stay up all night. We're going to do all night with Luke Coons.
Oh boy.
It's a new special.
Okay.
I don't care what Luke's doing tomorrow. We're keeping him up. Damn it, we're keeping him up. We're going to broadcast until he passes out in front of this computer.
Depending on how late we do this,
how late is it there? Let's tell the audience. Tell the folks at home.
It's 2:30 in the morning.
Oh my God, Luke! Thank you for doing this. I'm so sorry.
This is the latest I've been up in years. Well, not years.
Okay.
That's not true. That's a lie. That's very much not true. That's far from true, actually.
Far from true.
But yeah, no. So what do I got it? We're preparing for Christmas. Are you celebrating Christmas? Do you celebrate Christmas?
I celebrate Christmas, but not so much this year. I guess I'm going to celebrate this year because my mom just wrapped up some gifts for me. Nice. And not only that, but I got my Ninja Turtle NECA from Ninja Turtles Part 2. Hang on, podcast. Let me show that out there. Hang on. I'm going to be back. So like last year, NECA did the pre-order, made-to-order thing that said like, hey, why don't you like order these ahead of time and we'll send it to you. So I was like, oh, okay. So I pre-ordered these like a year ago, or at least earlier this year, and they finally showed up. And it's been a long, long time. I've been waiting for these. So, hello, podcast. I'm back. So, it's a big, giant VHS or fake VHS of the Ninja Turtles. So to show a scale, this is me, this is my big head, and this is how big the box is.
I love that.
And it's a recreation of the VHS box.
Oh my God.
But it's done with the action figures instead of the actual photos.
Oh, that's so cool.
Those are the action figures, Luke. It's not even the thing. Let's see. Get a close up.
Oh wow, yeah.
And then it's a slipcase.
Yep.
And now I'm kind of double thinking what I should do. Because what I was going to do was open this open these and then replace it with the ones on the shelf because I don't have the complete collection of the ones on the shelf. I have Raphael and his hiding gear. I have Donatello and Leonardo, but I don't have Mikey. And the reason why I don't have Mikey is because Raphael came in a double pack with Casey Jones,
Oh,
and I've never been able to find a double pack with Mikey and Raphael regular. So what I was going to do was take
regular?
them down and just swap them out and put them in here because I'm more nostalgic for part 2 than I am with 1. Yeah.
Why? But
Well,
why?
I
Tell me
think
why.
2 has more quotable lines in my household
Okay.
because we would always quote babies, yeah, babies, and then I always like the line. What's that line he says at the end? Oh, dandelions. I love that line reading. Dandelions. So whenever I see dandelions, I'm like, dandelions. And oh shit, there's
been on the
no
roof since your report. What's he been
coming.
doing?
Coming. I guess there's no opening to this. That sucks. Well, this is a bonus box that has all the accessories in there. So it has like him and his Casablanca gear. That's why you're getting on that plane, Elsa.
Oh,
And then
that's
they
cool.
have the dispose computer and the full volume. And then, as you can see, I'm a huge fan of the second one, so that's why I want to open this. And it has little baby Taka and Razor, and then it has the wax on, wax off gear, and then the Butterfingers and a little two Ralph, and then the one where have you seen Raphael? So good, so good. But yeah, I'm more nostalgic for that.
It's weird because like I loved them both growing up as a kid, and I think as a kid for some reason I liked the second one more, and I don't know if that's just because of like I liked the ooze, and I liked that kind of mystery, but as I've grown up, I'm like I'm much more a fan of the first one, and I feel I'm more nostalgic for the first one as well now.
Yeah. The first one, I was lucky enough to see that on the big screen when I lived in LA. And the voice of Mikey was there, and the stuntman who did Raphael was there. And that was cool. That was like one of the first times where, like, you know how I do fake fan expos now where I go to meet the actors? Yeah. That was like one of my first experiences doing that. And I was a little hard because I was like, oh, they're just, they haven't done anything in 20 years. But nowadays, I'd be like, Frank, you were so stiff back then. It's so cool to meet Mikey. Why were you thinking that? Why were you thinking that, oh, they're just, some guys? Yeah. But I saw Ninja Turtles on the big screen, and it's so funny because I believe on home media, they match the lips better. Like they speed it up or whatever, and editing. Because on the original film, on the big screen, those lips are not synced.
Oh, aren't they?
No. On the original film print, those lips are so far off when they're talking. I think they fixed it on home video. I honestly think they did.
I'm sure they can match something out there about it. It's gotta be.
Yeah. Captain Iron Dog says, I'm so jealous. I really wanted to get those figures. I know what NECA does for the folks at home, and Luke, they do like a made to order. They call it pre-order, but in actuality, it's a made to order. Like they're going to make some and they're going to make this for you. So they do it for like maybe 1 or 2 weeks. Because I think I told you about this. I think I sent you the link for Talk and Razor, and I think you missed both times, which I feel so bad. I feel because I want you to have Talk and Razor because those are beautiful figures.
One day.
But yeah, like they have like 1 or 2 weeks where they have this for like pre-order, but it's like it's super expensive, and you have to wait like a year in order to get these, or however long. I don't know when I pre-ordered these. I don't remember, but I know it's like a long time.
Yeah.
Before they show up.
My thing is always like, I'm always like, is it worth the pre-order? And I'm always like, I just get them off of eBay, but then you're like paying way more probably.
Oh yeah, for this thing, like that's why I'm afraid to get Mikey and Raphael on eBay, because they have bootlegs of that shit, and it's so hard to tell because online they could just show like a picture of the real figure, and then when you get the bootleg, you're like, oh fuck.
So I was foolish once. And because I really wanted the NECA first film Ninja Turtles, and I didn't know what I was doing, and I'm embarrassed to admit this. But there was the set of 4, like that box you just had.
Yeah.
That was available, but it was on Wish.
Oh shit.
It was on Wish. And I was like, "Oh, this is really cheap. Like, this is the cheapest one I found. Oh, I'm gonna get this." I didn't know about Wish at the time. I should have I should have pilot trusted this website, but I didn't. And
Yes.
then it arrived, and I was like, "These all look a bit skanky." They like
Don't worry, Luke. I fell for a bootleg myself, so don't feel embarrassed.
good. They they didn't stand properly. Their legs were a bit wobbly. I don't know where they got them. That's the thing that confuses me. I'm like, are these just like, did someone just like, are these like defects that someone just stole off the line and just sold?
I think what they do, I think so. I think someone steals defects in Japan or wherever, or China, wherever they make these figures, and then they use those and make bootlegs because
Yeah.
the bootleg I fell for, and luckily it wasn't too much. I don't know how much you paid for your things. I hope it wasn't too much because
It honestly
I
wasn't very
paid
much.
for. This is a real one, so I'm just going to show this for example. This is like a SF Figure Arts Harley Quinn, and this is a real one, clearly real. And I don't have the bootleg displayed, but I bought one from Suicide Squad because I bought this one first, and then I bought the Suicide Squad second, the one from James Gunn's Suicide Squad. So I wanted the Suicide Squad from the original one, 2016. So I had to go back. So I went online and I found one that was a decent price. It wasn't in the box, but it was a decent price. I was like, okay, that looks like the one I want. And I looked at pictures, like references. It looked right. But then when I got it in hand, I'm like, oh, this is a bootleg, because like literally it was like a freaking Woody doll. Like there was like nothing. Like there's no way it would be able to stand. Like the joints are all like loose, but it had most of the detail. Like if you were to hand it to someone and say, hey, this is a Harley Quinn toy, it looked like a Harley Quinn toy. And
Right.
like people would probably not know the difference, but if you know those things, like those are like hard joints. So like if you pose them, they're hard or solid.
Yeah.
Like they're made to be that way. And like it was just like a little Woody doll, and it was just like loose. I was like, ooh.
It's painful. It is painful.
Yeah. So now if I ever get it, I have to make I don't even think I'll order it on eBay again. Like I'll wait until I see it in person at a Comic-Con or something. If I'm trying to get that Harley Quinn again. What fell? I seen something fall. No, where'd it go? Oh no. Oh, anyway, my little RC.
Can you not get it on okay, I'm just saying, like right now, I can go to Amazon and I can get it.
Is it the original 2016 Harley Quinn?
No,
Really?
sorry. I'm saying the Michelangelo.
Oh, Michelangelo. I don't know. Like if you went through Amazon. Oh, hang on. What time is it? It is 9:04. Oh shit. I wonder if she's out yet.
Who? Oh.
Hang on. 9:30. She should be out yet. Hold on, podcast. I gotta text the lady friend.
Gotta do a thing.
I have to do my thing.
I'll tell you what, this will tell me if it's in the States. There's a fun trick where if you backspace the co.uk and put .com, it'll send you to the American site. And yeah, it's there.
Really?
Yeah. The Nika one. The Nika toy.
I'd have to check. Make sure it's the right scale and make sure it's the right Mikey.
It is. I swear. I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to message you and put it in Twitter. And
Twitter.
Or if you want to look at it here, I can put it in the private chat. If you want to look at it now.
Are you going to do either way? Are you doing Twitter or are you doing the private chat?
I've done private chat, so you have it now. But no, yeah. So what I did is this is, and how I know this is legit is I on the .co.uk site, it was like you purchased this item. So I have purchased this item from Amazon.
Okay, let's see. Oh, hang on. What scale is this? Oh. It could be it. It could be.
No, it definitely is. I promise. This
It
one
depends where it comes from, Luke. Depends where it comes from. Because you notice, Luke, on the bottom of that box, it says GameStop only.
GameStop is a that's a UK company. I just noticed here it says UK imports may differ from local products. I don't know if that says it on your page.
Yeah, you sent
Um,
me the UK link, so I don't know how to switch that over. But I'm just saying, um, like,
Interesting.
so these ship from somewhere else. You know what I mean? They're.
Okay,
I'd
well,
have to
go
look into detail.
search it. Search like Nika Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Michelangelo and see
No, no,
what
no.
comes up.
You're not listening. Like, you're not listening. So I watched a video about how they discussed the bootlegs
Yes.
because there was a guy who's, I think, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago or a couple of days ago, you might have saw my tweet where I said, "Oh, the toy reviewer had his shirt off and then he put the shirt on."
Yes.
That toy review was about the Ninja Turtles bootlegs,
Oh.
and the box looks exactly the same.
Yes, they do.
But when you open it, it's the details. It's the little
Yes.
detail. So that's why I'm a little bit worried about this because those boxes are pitch perfect. Those bootlegs, it'll
Yeah.
say GameStop on there. It'll look exactly right. But when you get those figures out, that's the problem. That's the issue because they have like longer necks. They have like weird paint spots. So that's why I'm a little iffy on it because what Amazon does, like it'll order it from wherever the store is. So I don't know if that store is official or not. So that's why I'm not. It's like I want it in my hand
So
because I know it can be blue.
what I typically do is because this I understand what you mean. What I typically do is I'll order it via because we have a Prime subscription. We do Amazon Prime. So I only order it, not only, but 99% of the time I'll only order it if it's on Prime, which means it has to be legit. Doesn't mean you can't get screwed over. You can still get screwed over, but as in like someone could like do like a swap or something like that. But it should also have the like it says the Nika brand and then has the links to like the official Nika stuff that you can get off of Amazon. So yeah, I guess I'm saying I don't buy it secondhand or by secondhand sellers or anything like that. I'll get it from Amazon directly from
UK General Store. John F. Kennedy Avenue. Who the hell is John F. Kennedy? I'm looking at the details of the store where it comes from, so that's what it said. It's from John F. Kennedy Avenue, apparently.
I don't know where that is. I don't know what that is. But
I don't know what that is.
I guess it is tricky, but like I said, yeah, on mine, like on u.co.uk, it's like, yeah, you last purchased this item and it was from Amazon. So it came from Amazon's warehouse where they were supplying, where they have a stock of Nika shit. And all of these were fine. But I had to buy them all single. They didn't have 2-packs when I got them. So I bought all 4 of them single. But I have no regrets. I was
regrets
thoroughly disappointed when those ones arrived.
I thought I'd kind of be okay because I was watching the video just to see like how bad are they, and like I didn't like them. I didn't like the bootlegs, and now I'm scared. I'm scared, Luke. I'm scared because the boxes look exactly the same.
Yeah,
and you can't tell until you get it in hand, and that scares me.
That's why I assumed that this was people. These are people who are taking the defects off the line and just selling them with the packaging. I think that's what. With at least the ones that I got, I'll dig them out at some point and show you to you because the box looks perfect. The box is exactly like how the box should look, and all the bits are in there. Like it's all the bits, all of that stuff is perfectly fine. But it's the turtles that are effed up, and you're like,
I gotta send you that review where the guy had no shirt on for the first part, and then exactly 4 minutes in, he puts on a shirt, and you can tell because it's in the reflection. I'm like, why did you just redo the first 4 minutes? It wasn't that great of an opening anyway. Just redo it. Like if you're stopping the camera and restarting it to do that, like just start from the beginning. Fuck it. I didn't understand that. And it was funny too because he says, "Shh, you're like the first person to notice." I'm like, I make videos. It's like it's noticeable because you can see like he has like no shirt on. You can see his tattoo like on his chest.
Did you tell him? Did you say it to him?
What?
Did you tell him to?
How did I say it? Like, what was my comment? It was like, thank you for putting on a shirt 4 minutes in. I think that was my comment or something like that. thank you for making this video or something like that. Along those lines, not exactly, but that's what exactly. I'll send you the link. I'm sure my comment's probably on the top.
That's funny.
Because the video just came out like 2 weeks ago, and I commented on like a week ago, something like that, night time frame. And it was funny too.
Was it for the Ninja Turtles 2 bootlegs?
No,
or
so for the first one. These guys, because he missed out on finding them in Walmart, so he wanted to order them online.
Right.
So it's these guys. No, because the Ninja Turtle 2 one, this is brand spanking new. These are like, they're finally being shipped out. So these are like fresh. These haven't been bootlegged yet. Fresh.
I never wanted to get the April O'Neil.
I'll give you my extra one.
Okay.
I think. Do I have an extra one? I mean, I don't know.
If you do, if you don't, it's okay.
Okay, fine.
I won't hold it to you.
You'll be like Anthony. I'll hold it to you. Make me get the whole. When he says that, I have to do it because I trust Anthony. Yeah, here's the April O'Neil. What am I behind on my Sony payments again?
I'll look at her. Am I behind on my Sony payments again? She was the best April O'Neil.
Yes. Oh my God, there was like a moment in the movie, and I tweeted about it where I was like, ah.
Yeah. I totally agree with which moment? Which moment?
It's on Twitter. People on Twitter, you gotta go through it. Look, I have the screen grabs of the two specific shots that last like 4 seconds, but I have the little audio clip going, ah. That is it. So people who follow me on Twitter, you could find it. Luke, I'll probably send it to you.
Okay, yeah. Because is it a scene of April or the scene of
April O'Neil? Definitely April O'Neil. Captain Iron Dog knows. Okay, so Captain Iron Dog, like, there's like a whole different scene too that I know too.
All your booby Brie Larson pictures first.
Yeah, go through my booby Brie Larson pictures. Okay, so the thing Iron Dog knows, I think he knows the shot. But there's another one where you see more of April O'Neil because it's letterbox for the full screen. Because on the normal widescreen, it crops out her waist. Yeah. So on the full screen, you see her full shape because it's like she's posed like she's supposed to be that way. But if you were to watch it regular, you can't see that. But like on the full screen, it's like you're getting the full April O'Neil.
Right.
And Captain Iron Dog knows what I'm talking about because I sent him the thing and he's like, I got to get me a full screen version of Ninja Turtles.
Okay, I'm scrolling. It is strange how much of those things can change your viewing experience. Speaking of Mission Impossible, there's one scene in Mission Impossible where Mr. Phelps is speaking to his wife Claire.
Yes.
And they're discussing the mission. And it really fooled us when we watched it. Because we were like, it was weird we were like, wait, why is the movie having a scene where the couple that are in on the gag?
Oh my God, I tweet a lot. I thought it'd be right there. Yeah, go ahead, continue.
Yeah, so they're having a conversation. They're talking about the mission, what they're going to do when they're in Prague or whatever. And then at the end of the movie, we're like, it's weird that they had this scene where they're like, they're in on the gag, but they're having a conversation about the mission as if like, they're not in on the gag. Then when I saw the movie for the first time in widescreen, there's an entire character cut out of the frame. There's the other woman on the team who's only in the first movie for a few minutes. She's standing right behind Claire. And you don't see it in the full screen version, which is the first version that I had on VHS. So it's crazy much it happens.
Yeah, I grew up with the VHS of Die Hard, and I never understood, like, when Al Powell goes over there, he's like, oh, the hell with this. So when I got the DVD widescreen, you see that there's a terrorist about to shoot him if he walked any further. You know the scene I'm talking about where he goes in the lobby?
Yeah.
So on the full screen, you couldn't see it. I found it. It's bruh. Yes. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, yes. Sorry. I think I just passed it. Oh, here it is. Right. So in the first one, it's what? Just her.
wait. I have to hold it to my lavalier. So that's the plan from a great leader, just sing on our butts. Good answer. Good answer. There's a lot of good shit in that movie, Luke.
There
There's a
is.
lot of good shit on it.
I was
A
gonna say
fellow chicory. Meow.
I fully agreed with. I really enjoyed Red Letter Media's review of Ninja Turtles.
I've
I
been
thought
waiting
that,
for that.
yeah,
I've been waiting for that.
yeah, I agree. And she is stunning. She is stunning.
She is absolutely stunning. Absolutely. I get why Mikey's like, I'm in love.
Yep.
Yep.
1000%. And that second one,
Yes.
she was way boring. So boring.
I know. I think she was only hired for that one joke for Casablanca because she sort of looks like the actress from Casablanca.
Oh,
Because they make
maybe.
that joke like, Elsa, you're going to get on that plane. And it looks exactly like that girl. I was like, oh my God, the
Yeah.
actress. Luke, I've made you do it. I just looked at the time of how long we've been streaming.
3
We
hours.
finally
man.
clocked over the 3 hours. I made you do it because you're like, no, it's impossible. It can't be done. Can't. You fucking Doc Browned me. And I'm like, no, it can be done.
I tell you what. Oh, there's comments in the chat. Well, the ones that I missed that maybe. Oh, right, I see. When I've had my chats with Nadine, like we have to kind of stop ourselves from talking. Because if you go back and look at any episode that has her on there, we definitely push over 2 hours. And this last one was 2 hours and 40.
Yes.
Like we get close when we get rambling
Well,
about
the thing with
DC.
you, like, I'm glad with your show because this is just freeform thought. This is whatever we land on.
Yeah.
You have subjects, you have topics, and you probably have a stopwatch at some point for you.
Well, here's the thing. You tell me what you think. I don't have a stopwatch. I generally say an hour and a half to 2 hours. Part of me thinks, should I cut back to like an hour only or like an hour and 10? I'm not sure. Because the thing that's interesting to me is I'm always looking at my goddamn analytics. So like what's weird is the episode yesterday or the day before with Nadine is doing okay. But
Yeah.
I've noticed ever since my the retro review of Alien 3, everything has kind of like dipped in terms of like views. There's been a noticeable dip where it's like normally get like a couple of hundred, maybe 300. And then it started to go to like just in the hundreds. And now I'm in like the 90s to 80s for some reason. And that really agitates the shit out of me.
That is because you cut down on time.
But I haven't cut down on time. My streams have been
Oh.
the same. So I haven't actually cut
Okay.
down. I've just noticed that's been this weird trend. And I'm like, is it these are too long now? Do I need to have shorter ones?
Yeah, I'm not sure because I had a weird thing too because when me and Stuart did our top 10 or top 5, I should say, top 5 Red Letter Media videos,
Yes.
we never went back to a certain point, and I noticed that. I was wondering if it's because we like the longer Red Letter Media videos. Like I don't go back to that like first season where they're like only like 30 minutes long. I don't go back. Those are too short.
Yeah.
I don't like those.
Yeah.
I like when they go on feature length almost, where they're like 90 minutes pushing 2 hours.
Yeah. Same.
But I don't know if that's because of the stream or if I don't even know if that's because YouTube is suggesting that. Because YouTube will suggest shit that you like.
Yeah.
Or, okay, you like this, we're going to suggest this to you. So I don't know if it's algorithm thing.
Yeah.
Or they're like, I don't know. It's hard to put my finger on because it could easily be that. Because a lot of the time when I rewatch Red Letter Media, it's because I click on what it suggests me because I'm like, oh yeah, I want to watch that again. Or I want to watch that.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's weird. And I know that's what I hate about YouTube sometimes is I know they want you to do shorts and I know they want you to do also small videos, but like I don't have time like to do all of that. I'm not going to do like a short 10-minute video like every other day. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I don't have time for that shit. I have time for a short, but like what's a short going to say? It's just a preview of what I'm going to talk about. Hey, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah.
Your shorts are awesome because the problem with the shorts, which is kind of like, oh, because whenever I comment them, that's usually when I first see them, and you're like,
Yeah.
why are you commenting this? But it's because I'm seeing the short like 3 weeks later pop up on my feed.
The one that like the last one I did was hilarious. Like I got so much hate for my Lethal Weapon comment.
Oh, that's right. I even said I'm like bait. Like you don't believe what you're saying. Bait.
You know what? Okay, let me clarify what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Die Hard isn't a Christmas movie. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. But I am saying that Lethal Weapon is more of a Christmas movie because Christmas is like on every scene. There's Christmas decorations, there's Christmas lights, there's Christmas music. It's almost in every scene. Where Die Hard, there's having a Christmas party. There's a couple of Christmas references, but Christmas is everywhere in Lethal Weapon 1. Everywhere. It even starts off with Christmas music. The movie starts with Christmas music.
Okay, Luke.
And that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Okay, yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yes.
I'm not going to argue it because it's the truth, but I feel like the spirit of Christmas is Die Hard.
Die Hard
like
is
that is like him trying to get back his family.
Yes.
And the music itself is like Christmassy throughout the whole thing. Like the score is basically like Jingle Bells or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not Jingle Bells specifically,
I know
but
what you mean. Yeah.
the themes or whatever. Christmas music is embedded like through the whole thing. But I get what you're saying about Lethal Weapon because I think in Lethal Weapon, I think you're correct. Every shot has like a Santa Claus or a Christmas tree or something that says Xmas or someone's about to sing like oh, silent, damn it. Like, all that stuff's in there. I agree.
Yeah.
But
so
also, what was your argument? You're saying that it's
isn't.
more of a Christmas movie, right? That's what
yeah.
you're saying?
More.
Okay.
More.
Then I'll let you. Yeah, you got that. That's a good argument. Then.
Where no one listened to that bit. I just said more or something like, or maybe I said better. I might have said better, which got people's backs up. But like, man, the amount of down likes I got on that. Jeez. See, I can see how Lethal Weapon is a Christmas movie based off what. See, it is because it is Lethal Weapon 1.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
It is.
It's wonderful. It's funny because I had more of a Christmas vibe watching it than when I watched Die Hard, but I also love.
Yeah, I can see that. That I can see. I see what, or I should say, point over here. I can see that, Luke. I agree what you're saying, Luke.
Damn, thank you. But it's still great. I love them both. I'm not saying obviously, I'm not saying Die Hard isn't good.
I think you said better or something much or something. I think there's like a wording in what you said, which kind of threw it off. I'm like, you don't know what you're saying, Luke. Stop it. Think about it. Think about your family and your viewers.
You stupid fool. We did.
You fool. Dwight, you fool. You damn fool.
We did watch Lethal Weapon 2.
Oh no! Don't hate it. Please don't hate it.
I don't hate it.
Okay,
I don't hate it.
I know how you can get sometimes. Don't hate it. Please don't. Don't hate it.
For the most part, I enjoyed it. There's a lot that's fun about it. But I found the backstory a bit interesting in that Shane Black tried to write it. They didn't like his script, and then he like basically felt like he failed.
Mm-hmm.
Because in his version, he was going to kill Mel Gibson's character off.
Yes.
Which I'm kind of like, that actually makes sense.
I almost feel like they filmed it that way, and they just save it with ADR.
That bit at the end, I was like, oh, are they really gonna?
I think it's just ADR because, like, I think like Riggs is like there, and they probably cut right before he went, like dead, because they make a joke like he's laughing like oh, and then it cuts out to like the helicopter shot, and it's just like a joke or two over audio. I'm like, did he die?
Yeah,
because he could have easily been like oh,
yeah,
and then died. but like they cut it right in the middle of his laugh, so it looks like he lived. Because I think Richard Donner was probably like, "Yeah, let's kill this fucker off. I like the script. Let's kill him off." But the studio was like, "This is a franchise. We're not going to
No,
kill
I
him
think it
off."
was Donner. At least, well, I mean, I think I'm reading this. I think I read that off of Wikipedia, so who knows if that's true. But I think it said that Donner was the one who was like, "No, we don't want to kill him off because we might want to do more with these guys."
Okay.
So it's interesting. I would love to read, because I think it's partly why Shane Black was acting like he was so like distraught over it, because it was something like everyone hated the script and he felt like he just let everyone down because his name.
Yeah.
I don't think his name is even on Lethal Weapon 2,
I think it must be.
or maybe
Because when so in 2007, after seeing Hot Fuzz, I doused myself with action films. So I do believe Shane Black is credited for Lethal Weapon 2, because I think when I was doing my research and looking at movies and doing the credit stuff, I think he must at least have a credit, like story credit or something. He has something for it.
Shane Black and Warren Murphy. Screenplay by Jeffrey Boehm.
Yeah. Because I love the opening chase scene of Lethal Weapon 2. That is fantastic. That is like the best thing that's ever been put on celluloid. Like, whoa, what? And not only that, but I love when it opens up, it has like the little Looney Tunes theme, like, and then it has like Lethal Weapon coming there, and it has that sound effect, and it has a big giant too, and it's like, whoa, and like you're in the action. It doesn't give you time to breathe. Like you're in it because it sets you up with like, it's coming, like, I got a list of movies I got to watch tomorrow. I might watch Hulk tonight, but tomorrow I got to watch like Lethal Weapon 2 and what was the other one we talked about today? Top Gun, I guess.
Was that Hulk, Top Gun? What else was there?
There's a lot. We're covering a lot of ground today, which I like.
Wasn't like Hell or High? Was it Hell or High Water? I'm trying to think of the other one that you said you wanted to watch.
I don't remember. It was like I definitely know it was Hulk because I got all emotional about the Jennifer Connelly because I really want to rewatch that.
Yeah.
And what do I want to rewatch other than Lethal Weapon? I know it's something else we talked about. I'm sure I'll watch this again. I don't know. It's 3 hours. I probably won't watch this again.
I mean, it makes sense.
Do you rewatch your stuff or no?
No.
No? Okay. See, you're confident, Luke. You're confident because there's sometimes where I rewatch my stuff and I'm like, oh God, what did I do? Is it okay? Is it okay? And my solo streams, I'm more like that. Like, is it okay? Is it okay? Did I say too much? Because that was one of the reasons why I stopped doing lunch with Frank. Because I feel like there was like one where I went on for 2 hours. I was like, that's too much. I don't like it. Yeah.
Oh,
no.
I'd say I like those. That was fun. Those were fun.
Yeah.
Those are fun.
But I want. Oh yeah. Why were we here? Let's wrap up the show with talking about what we were supposed to talk about: streaming. Okay, so for the audience, the folks at home, so me and Luke were trying to discuss like what should we talk about for our stream, and Luke was like, "Oh, we should talk about your setup and how you're going to stream." As you can tell, we're 3 hours in, never even touched it, came close to it. But I want to stream more because I don't want to hold on Luke too long because like soon he'll be seeing the sunrise in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, we got a while. We got a while yet.
But we were supposed to talk about streaming because I want to stream and I see the differences because I see here that says powered by StreamYard. I don't like that, but I don't know how often I could do this. But I do like doing this chat. This seems fun. I think I could do this with Stuart. I think I could do this with Anthony. I want to get Kirk. I want to Frost Nixon Kirk Beatty. Like I want to sit him down. I want to talk about The Simpsons. I want to deep dive. I want to do a shoot interview about him doing trailer mashups because there's like he's like a mystery to me. Like Kirk Beatty is a mystery. He doesn't talk much online, but whenever he does do stuff, it is all solid gold. And to me, whenever I share Simpson stuff with him, I think it bothers him, but I don't give a shit because to me, he's a Simpson. I'm a Simpson. We came from the streets. Me and him were from the streets. So, because we both love The Simpsons, me and Kirk, right? Because we always talked about that, or at least, tweeted about it in the past. So I want to do a shoot interview with him. I want to talk about toys with Anthony at some point. I'm sure we and you could go on another 3 hours or whatever once a month or whatever. Easily. Oh my God. Like tomorrow I'll probably have a sore throat. No shit. I probably will sound like fucking Kermit the Frog tomorrow.
I suppose that's the other thing is like, are you wanting to do it? Because this is where I'm kind of at the moment. I'm trying to decide, do I do it weekly or do I do it bi-weekly?
Okay, so what you could do is do like a live stream, and then like every other week you do like an edited piece, 5-10 minutes, just to keep the audience there.
Yeah.
And it could be on anything. It could just be like, oh, my opinion on this, or recommendation.
Yeah.
Like I don't have much to talk about this week, but I could talk about like The Jackal, Bruce Willis. I just saw it on TV. It's been a while since I've seen it. Recommend the movie. Pretty good. Or hey, check out The Saint. It's a forgotten 90s movie starring Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
Actually pretty decent. Not that bad. Check it out.
Yeah.
Things like that. And then every other week you do a stream with the guest. Like with this, with what I want to do, I sort of like, I want to redo my like stream, like how I approach fan trailers. I want to redo that stream because the original one I had the tape over the screen, because it's so funny too, because I was so self-conscious about, you know, covering the screen when I started doing these things. And then the first one I did, you're like, oh my God, what's that in the background? I'm like, that's exactly why I covered the screen for so long. But now that I have like a nice setup for a background, I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to talk about fan editors or fan trailers. I want to connect with my friends from around the world, like you.
Yeah. Man.
Like you live in London. We've been friends for like 8-10 years, and we're finally talking. I think this is like maybe our third time talking, maybe fourth, possibly
something
fourth.
around something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but like we've been friends for years and we never really talked. And like I want to talk to my friends. I want to reconnect to people. Like there's old friend of mine, like kind of acquaintance, but like friend. But like we met during like a field trip. Because okay, so going back in history, Frank history. So when I was younger, there was this group called People to People. I don't know if anybody knows this, but it was a group designed by Dwight Eisenhower for students to go across the pond to like Europe and learn about the culture. So I was part of that. I did that for 3 trips, 2 trips to Europe, mixture of things. And then the third trip and final one was the inauguration for Obama. So the first trip was like a European trip. I think we went to Germany, Berlin, Auschwitz, things like that.
Yeah.
Went there, did that. And I met some people there. And again, Simpsons, there was this girl named Jasmine who loved The Simpsons. And like all these years later, I finally sent her a Christmas card, you know, like because I saw her on Instagram or whatever. So we're becoming friends again on Instagram. So it's like, I want to interview her, like what she's been doing all these years, like how'd she get into her career and whatnot. Yeah. And then I want to talk to people like Caroline. Caroline's like saving the world or whatnot. That's crazy. And there's another person from my trips. And then I want to talk to, like, again, Kirk, Anthony, of course. And then probably some other people. I don't know. I'm sure there's friends out there like Joe Deck. Like Joe Deck is like a living legend, you know, to me, but no one else really knows who he is. Exactly. And then maybe some old friends from high school. I have no idea, but I want to try something. I want to, like that. And maybe some people, like maybe Captain Iron Dog. Maybe we could talk about something. I don't know. Because I just think, oh, geez. Lord. But yeah, like I want to talk to, like, you know, friends from all over the place. Oh shit, camera's blinking. We got to wrap this up.
Okay.
Okay.
It's gonna die.
So it's gonna die. So it's been nice doing this with you, Luke. I can see it's made 3 hours 29 minutes. That is a perfect time to stop. So this camera is good for 3 hours and 30 minutes. That is awesome. This is an awesome camera.
That is a good camera. Anyway, yes. I like your idea. I like your idea for live streams. Do it. Do it.
Yes.
Do it.
Do it. Do it.
Do it.
Execute Order 66. Okay. Before we leave, let's see some comments. There's like 4 of them here. 3 hours to get to the main point. Exactly.
It's a long
This is
one.
like the Batman. It took us 3 hours to get to the main point. Let's see. That man is a real man of mystery. Exactly. That dude, Kirk Beatty, is a man of mystery. He is the James Bond of film. He's down to do it. Captain Iron Dog has actually helped me with something. He sent me a copy of Seaberg that I'm actually using for my Kristen Stewart project. So thank you.
Awesome.
So let's wrap it up.
Cool.
Thank you, Luke, for doing this. I'm sure we'll do this again soon.
Yeah,
Like,
look forward to it.
since the setup is actually pretty good.
Yes. And he's gone because his camera has died. And now I'm here on his channel, all on my own. I'm gonna go now. Do you want to turn it? Can you turn it off, Frank? Or do I just X out? Bye.